find it in your local grocer's freezer and taste what all the screaming is about. Welcome to No BS with Bill Schmidt and Armin Saryan.
Welcome in as we get this Friday rolling. It's No BS with Billy and Sarian on the game. Aaron Nagler will join us today. We'll check in one final time with the post-game show boys down in Arizona as they bring you unbridled coverage of Brewers spring training, unparalleled coverage, unrivaled. I mean, there's nobody else that's doing anything like these guys are because they got Beer Count Kenny apparently cooking for them. I found that out from Tim Allen at Tim Allen Rants yesterday on social media. That's also where you found all their digital assets that they posted through. Hunter Baumgart, fantastic interview with Mark Canna and company.
So good.
And they are going to get one final day inside the clubhouse. So they're going to join us a little bit later on here today before we hang out with Mike Heller. And we'll talk some Packers football, as I mentioned, with Aaron Nagler coming up in about 40 minutes from right now after 10 o'clock, because there is just a couple of days still before we hit the legal tampering period. There's still a couple of days that teams can sign players who have now been released by their own team ahead of free agency, get in with a deal before everybody else can start pouncing and everybody else hits the open market. And it seems like daily we're getting another player that is becoming available, Armin Saryan, via trade. And yesterday it was the man that just led the NFL in sacks, Trey Hendrickson. Who I have been saying quite a bit until this thing gets resolved. That's the one that I am hunting. That's the one that I'd be liking to see. And the 30-year-old youngster who just came out of here with a 17.5 sack season to lead the NFL, coming off another 17.5 sack season, already has a 13.5 and 14 sack season under his belt. Dude can absolutely ball, and I'm fascinated to see where he ends up landing, because the Cincinnati Bengals want to keep everybody on the offensive side. Said, well, we're okay with letting you move on and go and try to go and navigate yourself during these trade waters and go find yourself a new team.
Thanks for the challenge, said all the defensive coaches for the Bengals that have to deal with like tough.
Al Golden's like, wait a second, I left Notre Dame for this?
Man, that is tough. Oh, I guess you're just going to invest everything in
Sam Hubbard and Sam Hubbard's going to retire? He's only been in the league 7 years. Okay, that's fine. We still have Trey Hendrickson. He just led the NFL in sacks. Oh, no? Okay, sweet. Awesome.
Roll up and say, yeah, real nice. Your offense better score 58 points a game for me.
Yeah, amen.
Because you just gutted my whole defensive line. No, I mean, obviously Trey Hendrickson is a good player, but I think one people don't talk about or think about when they think about the great DNs, Billy, in this game. But anytime you have 35 sacks over 2 seasons, I think you're doing pretty good. That's almost a sack a game. That's pretty impressive. Do you think they saw what the Raiders paid Max and said, no, we can't afford this. We don't want any part of this. Just go now. Just find your trade now because we got to pay our receiver.
Last year it was a little bit contentious, it seemed, with Hendrickson. He was at the Super Bowl and talked with McAfee and company at their really impressive set. And he said it made it sound as if this was impending. Made it sound like this was coming up because he had somewhat been told in less than the exact wording, yeah, you're probably going to be the odd man out. Like, we didn't give you a long-term deal last year. We're not going to give you a long-term deal again this time around. And now they're sitting here having to pay the piper. And yes, he's going to be 31 years old. Dude that did start playing in the NFL at the age of 25. So a little bit different route to the NFL, maybe a little bit younger, 30 years old. At that point, you could make the case for, but a dude that is just ultra productive over the last 5-6 years. And one that I'm very, very interested in for the Green Bay Packers. Dude that plays with his hand in the dirt, one that is always going to get after the quarterback and play a little bit in run support, but he's got a reason why he's out there. And Armin got some swag. My man wears the long sleeves, no gloves. We like a little bit of nastiness in Green Bay, and this dude would fit right in.
Yeah, I guess that's swag. Is that what we call swag?
It is swag. Playing on with your hand in the dirt, going no gloves. That's no swag right there.
All right, I like that. I do like that. All right, I like to hear that. So my question is, why do you think no one has given him the requisite respect he deserves? I mean, I think the guy's proved it in his production. He's earned it. Is it? He wasn't an SEC guy. He wasn't a first rounder. Maybe it's all those things. What is he? Florida Atlantic, I think. So you're right. He took kind of the long road. But you know what? A guy that's super productive, Billy. You just have to make you just have to bank on the fact if you're going to bring him in that he's going to keep up that level of production through, because you have to make sure you're going to be getting him what he's, what you're paying for. You can't pay him for what he's done in the past if you're the new team and what you trade him for. But Billy, there's no doubt about it. If you want production that you haven't had from that position, Trey Hendrickson would be a great one to bring in. And it's quite tantalizing to think about the prospect of him being in green and gold. Now, I'm not saying that's happening. We don't know, obviously. We're just dropping the mobs here and imagining, but
just getting excited.
It would be great. I mean, this is definitely one of the more underrated guys at his position, in my opinion, in terms of what his total production has been versus how much hype and talk he gets. You just don't hear about him much. You don't hear people say.
You hear about the Myles Garretts. You hear about the TJ Watts. You hear about Max Crosby and company. There's a number of different guys that you hear about before Trey Hendrickson, but he's been as productive, if not more, than a lot of those guys. And it seems like, just in comparison to what we're talking about for the DK Metcalf trade, which has been now on the table for almost a week. It was a week ago when the Corbin Smith first story popped up at the combine, and then we had Matt Schneidman kind of refuted on air while he was with us a week ago after the Indianapolis combine. Schneidman writes at The Athletic today, as they put up with like 5 different teams that could submit proposals, what it would look like. The Packers potentially is the least exciting. Depends on what you think of. One, Lucas Van Ness, who would be a part of the offer, combined with a 2025 third round pick. Schneidman pens it. Don't let Hendrickson's 30-year-old age completely dissuade you. There's plenty still left in the gas tank. There's a contract extension to be given here, though. That's why draft compensation isn't as high as some would think. Throw in a young edge rusher, maybe you can change up what that number would be as a 2024-3 first rounder. Makes it a little bit more appealing than others. Now, like Washington's is they trade the 29th pick in this year's draft, a 2026 second round pick, and Jonathan Allen for Trey Hendrickson and the 49th pick in this year's draft, right? So like a little bit of a pick swap, another player, but a pick and a player seems to be what a lot of teams and a lot of, at least these writers, are penning up for the thoughts of it. I think that's right in line with what I'd be okay willing to pay for this position, to be able to be the one that you try to rectify right away, even before free agency starts.
Well, if you make Lucas Van Ness the player, I'm not sure you're going to get a lot of pushback from Packer fans.
Yeah, I would be stunned if you get a lot of pushback for that. Yeah, you're a fair point.
And the reality is, it depends on what pick it is, what player it is, but you have to be cognizant of the fact, as you are now in these situations in the NFL, that you will eventually have to pay for that player. So you have to factor that into the equation. If you feel the money's worth it, if you feel it's, if there's multiple teams bidding, how high would you want that pick to go? I would say that's pretty impressive. By the way, Matt in Milwaukee, he had 17.5 the last 2 years. That's where I get my 35 number. Thought he was funny with 17 plus 17. He had 17.
It's over a sack a game.
Yeah,
like, that's legit stuff. That's serious stuff. And I think this is the other one where Joe mentions, like, hey, good players and productive players on bad defenses a lot of times are going to get overlooked. Look at what he did in some of their bigger games, though. Like in their playoff run in 22 that goes to the Super Bowl, he has 3.5 sacks, including one in the Super Bowl. Like,
showed up in big games. Yeah.
Shows up in some big games and has those big moments there. I just think he's an extremely productive player. Sure, you're going to have to give the contract extension, but you're going to have to give the contract extension to the wide receiver you potentially acquire.
Yeah.
Or if the wide receiver is, say, Brandon Ayuk, who is apparently also now available because the 49ers are just apparently offloading everybody. That guy's already got an extension from a year ago. So that comes with this is the money that you have to pay. But as long as we're not talking, Armin, day one is going to be pretty much off the table for this guy. I think it's off the table for most outside of a Myles Garrett individual. I feel okay if it's a third and potentially a player. Now,
I'm with you, Billy.
I'll tell you this. I'm a little bit higher on Lucas Van Ness going into year 3 than most, understandably so, because the production has been poor. But I do think that there is some real untapped potential there that could be tantalizing to not only the Bengals, who need cost-effective players. They need young, cheap players. Trey Hendrickson, older and going to be more and more expensive. They are in a win-now mode, but they also know that they're in a little bit of a reboot. This puts the pedal down to the floor of the urgency that Brian Gutekunst talked about at the end of the year, competing for championships, and then stressed the urgency again last week when he was at the combine.
Well, no doubt. And that's what you'd have to sell to the Bengals, right? Listen, this is an inexpensive player. He's still a high round talent. He still has untapped potential. This is the reason we think Lucas Van Ness will be this, and this, progress this way going forward. And we're going to show you that and why he's valuable to trade for. Because I think a lot of fans get caught up in this counterintuitive measure when it comes to trades, that they just want to get rid of the guys they're not happy about. But the other league, if you don't think that this player's worth much, the rest of the league thinks that too, and therefore they don't want to trade for him. So that's the challenge of trading a guy that has underperformed for you, is that you have to sell to that new team. There's a reason he's underperformed. He's going to start performing, and we're going to give up a great piece of value for you to make this trade. I think that's the tricky part, and that's what they're going to have to do. And listen, I hope he does. I hope he's that guy for the sake of a trade or for the sake of the Packers, whoever has him, because he has to start performing. But Billy, you're right. You're going to have to pay anybody that's good, right? You can worry about paying a big contract to somebody. It's a price of playing, the price of having great players. And I love what you said about Trey's showing up in big games, because that's been another thing that some defensive players in the Packers defensive line have been lobbed accusations for, right? I mean, Rashawn Gary has moments, but sometimes it's 3 sacks in one game, then dormant for a month, but showing up in big games, that's when you need those guys to come up and play big. If you can get that from a guy like Trey Hendrickson, it makes him that much more attractive. Not just stacking up numbers and having, 3 sacks here and 4 sacks here and coming up with a big number at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Can you affect the offense? Can you wreak havoc all the time when it matters?
Well, and that's a good point. And then you also look at just his consistent pressure and consistent play throughout the season. There weren't many lulls of like multiple games in a row where you're not getting to the quarterback at least once. There's a back-to-back in the early portion of the season where he goes without a sack, but then he also has 2 TFLs, right? So like there's a part of the overall end game numbers that we saw from Rashawn Gary a couple of years ago, where it's like 9.5 sacks. Okay, that's good. You can build off that. Sure. You could see 12.5 coming here. You dig in a little bit deeper. A couple of them come in 3 sack games, right? Those big spurts where you take over a game, that's right. Awesome. But you do need consistent pressure, and that was something consistently getting quarterbacks onto the ground this year was the worst part of the Packers pass rush. They had multiple games in which they had, correct me if I'm wrong, 7 sacks.
Yeah, the Titans game.
I mean, they sacked Will Levis 7 times.
Yeah, exactly.
I think they sacked Geno Smith 6 or 7 times. So, like, they changed where you look at the end of the year. The equation looks a lot better because of that volume you got in those 2 games, but it doesn't tell the whole story. And the story this year was a lack of consistent pressure on the quarterback. Getting home, this dude finishes pass rushes, which I'm a big fan of. Also finishing his time in Seattle, seemingly is DK Metcalf and Armin. John Snyder's not very happy about how it went down.
No, he's not. He just can't believe this.
GM of the Seattle Seahawks reportedly to Michael Sean Dugar of The Athletic, very frustrated, very upset, because yesterday was supposed to be Tyler Lockett day. They released Tyler Lockett, and apparently, according to John Schneider, he was quite disappointed because that was supposed to be his day, that they had set it away. They had not cut Tyler Lockett with the other cap casualties that they had on the team. They wanted to make sure he got his moment in the sun.
Moment in the spotlight
for getting cut after 10 years of service to the Seattle
world.
Seahawks. And then DK Metcalf's like, sweet, I'm also trying to get out of here.
What a world. What a league. I mean, what a league. What a world that you can spin getting fired as being your day. No, this is your day. Like, we got to
celebrate his contributions to the program
on your own day. Did they give him a framed jersey too and everything like that?
March him out. Get the little box. I
don't think the mayor made it Tyler Lockett day yesterday.
Did some poor intern?
The city.
I don't think he got the key to the city yesterday.
Get that 46
they
second.
Actually had to take it back from him.
Yeah, they did. Well, it didn't work. It was a key fob, and here's the key to the city.
You're gonna have to turn that one.
We'll turn that one in, and I don't know. Some social media intern did a really quick 45-second edit of Hall of Fame or something, some Will.i.am song.
Linger.
Just to put it on there, like the most basic thank you graphic that you can ever see. Thank you. Hurry up. Slap one of those together because we need to make this Tyler Lockett day, the day we fire you. Like, what a league. What a way to spend
very Vince McMahon-esque.
Yes, I guess so. Hey, listen, that's
give you a big ceremony, then walk on out there and then fire you right in the middle of the ring. That's a tough thing to do.
No,
but you know what? DK Metcalf then just stomped all over it.
I think it's
even though this was kind of out there.
Creative work by John Schneider, though, to make this to trying to spin a positive.
Well, he's also spinning DK as quite a villain.
Spin DK the villain and say, Tyler, this was your day. We're not firing you because we didn't like you. We're not releasing you because we're releasing you because we wanted to make this special for you. You've earned, what did they say about Darnold in Minnesota?
He's earned the right to be a free agent.
Be a free
trying to rob that from you. We're not trying to take that from you. You've earned this right to be a free agent.
One day when we're asked to leave this business, I want everyone to know it's because we've earned the right to be to be that. We've earned the right to have our day. You know what I mean? Like that's what it is. So
and just working towards it. Now that the trade package that we just outlined for Schneidman in the Athletic piece of what you would give up for Trey Hendrickson, Romeo Doubs, and a 4th round pick in the 2025 draft is the DK Metcalf one. Is the trade compensation or the impending almost $30 million you'd have to give DK Metcalf? You all good with that? Is either one a prohibiting factor for you, Armin? Because right now, for me, trade package is okay.
Yeah.
I feel okay about that. I don't love giving him $30 million.
I'm not worried about the mid-round, even though I know we do well with mid-round picks, and that's a credit to Gutekunst and his ability to spot talent,
best work,
their best work. That doesn't mean I'm afraid to give up a pick like that, because I believe in their ability to get the picks back, get picks somewhere else, do well in those picks. I'm never worried about that. You can give up a mid-round guy or a mid-round pick. I'd be okay with the player, even though I like to see him grow in the system. I'd be okay giving up a player because you have to give up something of worth. But it's the money. It's the money that would be prohibitive, and you have to be careful about how you spend it. I don't have a problem spending money on good players. You just have to make sure you're going to get the return. So are you more comfortable in spending that money on a DK Metcalf or a Hendrickson? That's the tough part for any GM. That's the tough part for anyone projecting talent forward, trying to project. You have to know the player. You have to know that, somewhat their makeup, their personality, and then hope for a little bit of luck that they stay healthy, that they stay on that path, that cliff doesn't fall right in front of you when you sign him, that it happens in a few years down the road. And that's the toughest part of this gig, right?
It's the most difficult part of this.
They're just trying to predict the future. You're trying to most accurately with whatever standard objective metric you can try and, project out that player's performance for those next few years.
Well, and you also this is the most difficult part of it. You have to forecast health. Right. I mean, you're talking about a guy in DK Metcalf. That was the biggest reason why he wasn't a top 15 pick.
Medical's huge.
If I remember correctly, he had a neck surgery.
That ain't good.
You can check me on that. I believe it was a neck surgery before he came out, fell into the 2nd round. Now, that would be one that you are able to somewhat put behind you.
Yeah, vertebrae in his neck he broke.
Right.
Yes.
You'd hopefully be able to put that behind you. He hasn't had a ton of issues in the NFL. He's actually been pretty durable in the NFL. However, again, just years of watching football, he's got 1% body fat on him.
He does.
I worry about those guys in the cold consistently.
Yeah, and he also eats gummy bears for lunch. Now that was a joke.
I actually like that.
I don't mind that, but it sounds silly. But those are you put that type of investment in a player, you have to go through everything. And you're right, Billy. The whole sculpted body Adonis is that football shape in Green Bay in the cold. On the surface,
get a little worried about that in the cold.
On the surface, you'd say, "Well, this guy's cut."
Feel like a hamstring at some point.
Of course, he's
very,
healthy
very quickly. Could feel like a very, very bad situation for him.
The more I think about DK, though, the interesting thing, though, to me, Billy, is I wondered this once we saw Tutu get that money. And I'm like, Tutu's getting this money. Is a deep threat that valuable now? That premium of a skill, that rare of a skill, where teams are willing to overpay for that skill? I think that's one of Tutu Atwell's biggest abilities, and that's why he got the money. Packers don't have Christian Watson next year, Billy. They don't. Now, DK, if there's one thing he can do, it's
he can stretch the field now. That's for sure. Yeah,
all the way up. Is he worth it just to have that threat? Does he impact your offense that much in a league where that's becoming harder and harder to do? Is that more of a premium skill and a premium ability? And is it worth paying money for? I wonder if that's where GMs are starting to look at this thing for certain receivers.
877-794-1973. Junior in Kenosha fired in. What's the chance the Packers can land Hendrickson and Metcalf, showing the Bears how not only to win the offseason, but also in the regular season?
I mean,
let's go, Junior.
You know what?
Let's go, Junior. Now, I'd also like to add in there, but also the regular season and the postseason.
Let's dare to dream.
We've already shown the Bears how to do that in the last 30, 40 years. But
let's get every player, win every game all the time. I love it.
I like that too.
I love that
get
strategy.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Now, money-wise, I think is the bigger part. The draft compensation, I think you could do. I think you could handle it. They would not like to. Brian Gutekunst, I think, wants more picks than less picks coming up in the 2025 draft in Green Bay. I think he wants more picks than less picks. The money side, I don't think they can pay two guys like that. I don't know that they can pay two guys the top of the market like they are going to command. They got some cap space. I don't know that they got that much. Aaron Nagler put maybes on both Trey Hendrickson and DK Metcalf.
I'll take it from Aaron because he's notoriously tough on those scores.
He's a tough grader.
Those rankings, yeah.
We're going to ask him what his rankings would be on which one he would prefer for the Green Bay Packers joining the grouping here for the 2025 season. Does either of these go down before the legal tampering period coming up on Monday? And Nags was at the Combine. I got to ask him this. How many of these deals coming up on Monday that are going to get announced while we're on the air? 1 hour into NFL free agency, how many of those deals have already been done? Because I think it's a higher number than anybody could even imagine. We'll talk about that when Aaron Nagler joins us coming up in the second hour of the program. Hit the talk and text line hard on the other side. Who would you rather? DK Metcalf, Trey Hendrickson? You good with neither? Haven't heard that opinion quite yet.
I don't think people would want neither to be an option. And that's probably the most realistic.
Well, listen, I'm not going to BS you. I think that might be the most likely option. It's no BS on the game.
Going down swinging, I'll be your number one with the bullet. I already got your blacks, cock it and pull it. We're going down, around. The sugar will going down swinging. I'll be your number one.
Guys, Underdog Fantasy, the place to be playing along while watching sports this year, because while your favorite stars on the hardwood are scoring buckets, they're alley-ooping you an opportunity to win money while watching sports on Underdog. Now, you can't make picks on confrontations with reporters and television personalities courtside, right? Because generally that would always be lower.
Well, not yet.
Last night it would have been higher.
It would have been high, huge.
Would have been higher for LeBron James. Now, I wish that would have been a pick on Underdog. Now, that would be a little bit wild. But they got so many different stats and projections to choose from. Points, assists, rebounds, first quarter, first half points, assists, rebounds, double-doubles, triple-doubles. You can create whatever experience you want playing their Pick'em game on the Underdog Fantasy app. It's an awesome time. You can play for as little as only $1. And if you get everything right, you can win up to 1,000 times your money in a single night. So that means you could turn $1 into $1,000 just with your hoops knowledge. Millions of fans have already won billions making picks on Underdog. Why not join them? Download the Underdog app, sign up using promo code Billy, and unlock a special offer of up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you make your first deposit. Join in on the fun when you sign up using my promo code Billy. That's BILLY. Claim your special offer today and get up to $1,000 in bonus cash instantly upon your first deposit. Must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Arizona and Massachusetts, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Void in Colorado. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit www.ncbgambling.org. In Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP to 53342. In New York, call the 24/7 HOPE line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY.
KB here. If you've got nagging aches and pains, you got to try Happy Place Hemp CBD and Delta 8 gummies. Just go to happyplacehemp.com, use the promo code DrewKB at checkout, get 25% off your order. Start feeling better right away. That's happyplacehemp.com.
Hi, this is Nate from Best Electric. We are a second-generation, family-owned and operated business in West Dallas. Our motto is no job too big or too small, and we stand by our work. Whether you are looking to add recessed lighting, more outlets, or troubleshooting any electrical problems, I'm confident in Best Electric's ability to solve any electric issues. With over 50 years in business, our experienced technicians have the expertise to fix it right the first time. Connect with the best. Visit bestelect.com today.
There's a lot on the line in a divorce. Your home, savings, retirement, maybe even kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce and the unexpected directions it can take, you really need a partner you can count on. I'm Rick Julius, a partner at Cordell & Cordell. We're committed to helping protect your personal interests and the life you've built. Don't let divorce take more than it has to. Talk to us today.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Milwaukee attorneys. 111 East Kilbourne Avenue, Suite 1650, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, 53202.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
Spring is finally here, and so are spring projects. So get them started at Harbor Freight's parking lot sale. Happening now. Save on products like pressure washers for $69.99, 42-inch roller cabinets for under $500, plus 30% off Hercules corded power tools. Whatever you do, do it for less at Harbor Freight. Valid until 3/9/25 while supplies last. Limitations apply, so spring in before it's over.
At the Home Depot, it's our business to support yours. Partner with your go-to source for building your business. We can help you streamline your operations by supplying the whole job from start to finish. Any questions? Our Pro Desk is ready to answer the call with supply sourcing, custom orders, large equipment rentals, and more. Elevate your efficiency and take on more projects with the partner you can trust. The Home Depot, how pros get more done.
If you're looking for your next movie or show to watch, you could browse hundreds of entertainment reviews, ratings, and blogs. Or, if you're ready to get to the good stuff, just follow Xfinity on Instagram. Xfinity's entertainment experts do the work for you, bringing together TV recommendations, movie premieres, insider knowledge, and more. And not just the blockbusters. They've got all the deep cuts you'd otherwise miss, and recs on must-listen podcasts on iHeartRadio. Xfinity's a must-follow. Find them on Instagram now, and you'll never miss a beat.
I can see the breath inside my house. This is how horror movies start.
First, the cold seeps in. Next thing you know, you're spooning your cat for warmth.
I tried it. He bit me.
Jason, come on, man. You need a new furnace. Don't you know that Capital is giving away the furnace when you get a new AC?
Giving as in free?
Yeah, but call Capital before this turns into the horror version of Frozen. Call Capital today and get a free furnace with a new AC.
Old-fashioned service, you can't go wrong. Call CapitalCares.com.
Welcome to Nada Yada Island.
Next on Metro's Nada Yada Island podcast.
I almost fainted when the 4 new bombshells arrived. 4 free Samsung Galaxy A16 5G phones at Metro.
No way.
And finding out the 4th line is free. Oh, things got heated.
That's wild. Join Metro and get 4 free Samsung 5G phones. Only at Metro.
Plus tax. Bring 4 numbers and an ID and sign up for any Metro Flex plan. Not available currently at T-Mobile or been with Metro in the past 180 days.
The game is on the line, and I've only got a shot clock's worth of time to tell you about Subway's $6.99 footlong deal. That's right. Order now on the Subway app and get any footlong on the menu for just $6.99. Fresh sliced deli meat, fresh crispy veggies. Too much good stuff. Get it now on the Subway app. Any footlong for just $6.99. Use code 699FL now. Only here for a limited time. Redeemable at participating U.S. restaurants. Subway app. Online orders only. Add-ons, additional plus tax. Additional fees apply on delivery. Excludes footlong snacks. Limited time.
Feel the thrills of sweet victory and bitter chills of defeat with the My24 Sports Hockey Weekend. Friday at 7, your Milwaukee Admirals clash in a Central Division border battle with a rival Chicago Wolves. Saturday, My24 brings you elite high school athletics with a WIAA State Championship Series. The puck drops on the Boys and Girls State Hockey Championships triple header Saturday morning at 11. Put your weekend plans on ice with electrifying hockey excitement. My place for sports. My24.
97.3 The Game.
All I do is win, 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 no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough. And every time I
Talk about winning. Might as well win. If you're a football fan, well, we're already winning here in the state because the NFL draft is coming to Green Bay, but you should try and win the Discover Green Bay 2025 draft sweepstakes because this is a big win. 1 lucky winner and 3 guests going to receive exclusive VIP package that includes 4 hospitality passes to the 2025 NFL draft events in Green Bay, 2-night hotel stay at Oneida Casino Hotel, exclusive Green Bay swag package, plus airfare to Green Bay, $100 per person, gift certificates to the Austin Straubel International Airport in Green Bay restaurants and gift shops, 1 $500 gift card, Visa gift card for general shopping and provided by PMI Entertainment for the week. Find out a lot more and how to enter to win right now the 2025 draft in Green Bay sweepstakes at greenbay.com/sweeps. That's greenbay.com/sweeps. And then you can also potentially run into Armin Sarian up in Green Bay for the NFL draft.
Yeah, no, well, that's a big deal, right?
Listen, I mean, like, you don't know who you're going to run into. You don't know who you're going to meet. That is going to be a draw. That is going to be a draw for all of a sudden. You're going to be hanging out, maybe potentially at Starbucks. Armin's not going to be fighting people at Starbucks.
Oh, I'll sign autographs.
Maybe at Quick Trip.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Invite
Okay,
him to the
sure.
cookout.
As
You're
I saw,
volunteering yourself for autographs.
I'll hang out wherever you want
sign
to hang
autographs.
out.
Would you sign an autograph like Molly McGrath did on her Instagram story the other night, where she posted that she signed her first Zin? Signed her first Zintin.
Zintin. Yeah.
Somebody at the Tennessee, I believe Tennessee, Florida. Was that the game I had right
I'm
there?
sorry. I only signed Kodiak. I only signed Wintergreen Skull. I'm sorry.
She posted it said, signed my first Zin. Happy about it. I don't endorse. Okay. She had to throw that in there. She is a mother. I had to throw that in there.
Respect Molly. She's trying to set the right example.
I'm not endorsing it. However, I signed it because the fans want.
Like me, there's certain things I don't sign. I'm just kidding. I'll sign. I've never signed an autograph. But if I did sign an autograph.
That's a lie. That's a lie. You've 1,000% signed autographs.
I don't think so. I can't remember anyone that actually. I think maybe one kid at an Admirals game once. Yeah. I think there might have been a kid at an Admirals game that wanted something. Yeah. Hey, you can see me today at the Verizon store at
you sign autographs?
Washington Road at Bayshore Town Center. Sure, yeah, I absolutely will. In fact, I have. There are so many Sharpies in behind the glass in the producer's room there in the studio. There's like
right
9 Sharpies, and I got one in my inside coat pocket anytime. Anytime you
anytime you
always
need.
ready.
In case.
Wow, there you go.
Always ready, Armin Sarian.
Just in case. I always have that Sharpie ready. But yes, I will be at the Verizon Bayshore store at 5790 North Port Washington Road at the Bayshore Town Center today from 4 to 6. So if you want to come out and see me, and I'll sign an autograph. I don't have 8x10s or anything.
Yeah, I desperately want that.
I don't have pictures of myself.
Wait, you don't have a stack of 8x10s?
No,
I would have thought you would have had like some 5x7s of you holding the basketball in your manager uniform.
I need to. I need to get some of those.
Or your prom king photos.
He needs some pictures of him at the Milwaukee Admirals game. Let's make it happen.
Yes, let's go. Now I remember as a young pup, I would go around to the radio remotes and see all the radio DJs, and they'd have like station branded pictures, and I'd get autographs.
Admit to that.
No, I got autographs from everybody I could find that was on the radio. I would want to be on the radio. That was my dream, man. That and being an athlete, but come on, I knew I wasn't going to be.
Well, and you had a convertible Sebring, so you already knew you had made it. 877-794-1973. Right there is where we see from Mark and Eagle. If I had to choose one between Trey Hendrickson or DK Metcalf, I would pick Hendrickson. I would love both. Could live with neither. But my biggest concern is that Hendrickson or Garrett ends up in Detroit. Now, I don't necessarily know. The Detroit Lions just re-upped Derek Barnes, their linebacker, who was hurt most of the season. He was about to hit free agency. I see the Lions in a very, very different spot. Like I was talking to Rob Reichel last night at a girls basketball game of fours. We were just having a good NFL Packers conversation. And
you had a nice call, by the way. Yeah.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Waukesha West over New Berlin Eisenhower. Good battle.
Yeah, good game.
In the midst of it, I see Detroit taking a step back. Now, everybody else is picking, and understandably so, Minnesota. And by step back, do I mean Detroit's going to win 8 games? I don't think so. But they won, 15 games a year ago?
Hard not to take a step back if you win 15 games, right?
They were one of the most explosive teams in football.
Right.
They lose both coordinators. You can't tell me that there's not somewhat of a hiccup in there. Like, I don't see them being this dominant force where all year long people are saying, well, it's just their year. It's just their year. I see them taking a little bit of a step back. I don't know that anyone wins this division with 13 wins next year. Maybe it's 12, right? Maybe it's 11. We saw them beat up on everybody, including the Packers, outside of their division for the most part. Maybe that's not necessarily the case coming up in 2025. That would be an interesting spot for Detroit to take a real swing. They've got so much young talent that they might want to. I think the money is a little prohibitive, though, for Detroit, Armin, because I think they see all of these young players and the contracts that they're also going to demand. And there's a take care of your own or go and get a splashy new guy to come into the group. That's a difficult thing to be able to balance.
I think teams would always rather keep their own, pay for their own, because it's the team the guy they like, the guy they've invested in, the guy that's built a relationship with their team, with their fan base. And I totally get that, and that might be a little bit, but they're always cost prohibitive, but there are always teams that surprise you somehow. And you always say to yourself, how are they paying for that guy? How are they paying for that guy? So they might find a way to make a splash. I do kind of agree that Lions will take a step back. I'm not sure if that's the reason. I just think they're losing coaches. You set the bar so high last year. You have to try and repeat that. It's not easy, but they have a lot of their own talent they have to pay.
They got a lot.
So you're right, Billy. And that's we'll do this a different day, but obviously that goes to the Vikings as well. What are they going to try and do with a lot of their guys they had were on short deals last year? How are they going to retool that? It's going to be interesting to watch. I don't know, but I would say if you had to choose one, maybe Hendrickson, because I think it's more of a position of need also.
Fair.
And
yes.
And you know what, Billy? It's this whole thing, though. We would love to have all these guys. I like that he said.
I prefer both.
I love that he said he could live with not having anybody.
That's
I got
good.
news for you. You might have to. Because Occam's razor, like in reality, guys, we all know it's more likely we just don't get anything.
That's the most likely outcome.
That's just the reality. And I don't want to say, I am getting more and more worried that we're setting ourselves up for a fall, though, on free agency.
Well, as Baron Beaver Dam said, if you're giving up picks and spending all that money, why aren't we all in on Myles Garrett? What happened to that conversation? Well, Bear, the Browns aren't even going to talk to him. So I don't know that the Browns are in on the conversation to trade Myles Garrett. Jimmy Haslam said no to a sit down with Myles Garrett, just to say, hey, this is what I'm trying to do. No, I ain't doing that.
He's too busy for that Bucs playoff run.
He is.
You know what I'm saying?
Getting ready for the Bucs to go to the finals. Sorry. Jimmy's busy. Okay, Miles, you can have him in June. After we have the parade, then you can go and talk to Jimmy. We got to talk to Tug Russell on the other side. And Aaron Nagler talks a lot more about this, including DK Metcalf, Trey Hendrickson, each got maybes. He reposted yesterday a piece of an interview he did with Brian Gutekunst that I want to bring back when Nags is on with us. The walkaway price is fascinating. You know the Packers have set one for both of these. Wonder what that might be. We'll discuss that and more when Nags joins us next. It's No BS on the Game.
Stay home with me. Stay home with me. I'll always love you. I'll always hope you don't get famous.
For the latest Packers offseason news, inside information, and reaction, keep up with the only media outlet you can trust.
It's like being surrounded by all your friends you don't know who all love the same team.
The Packers flagship 97.3 The Game.
Hey, Wisconsin, win an ultimate VIP experience with the Milwaukee Bucks powered by Verizon. 6 lucky winners will each receive 4 tickets to watch the Bucks play the Knicks on Friday, March 28th from the Club Lounge. Plus, you'll get early entry, an arena tour, and much more. Hurry to select Milwaukee area Verizon locations or go to www.bucks.com/Verizon to enter by March 16th. No purchase necessary to enter. Must be legal U.S. resident of Wisconsin, age 18 years or older to enter. Void where prohibited. For official rules and full details, visit www.bucks.com/Verizon.
KB here from my friends at Urchel Real Estate Group. Are you buying or selling? If you need a trusted real estate agent, broker, lawyer, and overall real estate guru for your home or business, go to urchelrealestate.com. That's urchelrealestate.com or email Greg at urchel.com.
Way to get your home looking good for the summer than with a fresh coat of paint from CertaPro Painters. Just a little bit of paint goes a long way to making your home feel like the day you moved in. And CertaPro Painters will get the job done right because they take pride in every job, especially yours. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. To schedule your free estimate and learn about their spring sales event going on through May 15th, visit CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C.com. When choosing a painting professional, the choice is simple. Choose happy. Choose CertaPro Painters.
Febreze. It's a classic odor tale. You fried fish for dinner, cleaned up, but the smell is still in the house. And the neighbors are coming over for game night. They're on their way. And then you spray Febreze Air Mist. Febreze Air starts working instantly to fight even your toughest odors, so you go from fish to fresh like that. Now, all you have to worry about is Pam cheating at charades.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, and a regular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
In almost every case, when Advent has solved a breathing triangle problem, it is a one and done. Because we don't want you to be a lifelong patient. We want you to be our next success story.
Advent knows
quick. By far the shot.
Spas. The Swim Spa Hot Tub and Sauna Show is coming this weekend inside the arena at the Waukesha County Fairgrounds. Rows and rows of spas, hot tubs, cold tubs, and swim spas. The largest display in the state. Save up to 60% on all in-stock models. This weekend only inside the arena at the Waukesha County Fairgrounds.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. It's no wonder that ZipRecruiter is the place for skilled skydiving instructors, accomplished airbrush artists, and proficient pediatricians. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter to hire, you're missing out. ZipRecruiter is the place that's so confident it can make your hiring easier that it lets you try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. So if you want the right candidates for all your roles, ZipRecruiter is the place to go. Try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to Hims.com/joy. HIMS.com/JOY.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother was saying he got life insurance from Ethos. With Ethos, it only took 10 minutes and he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit GetEthos.com. That's GetEthos.com.
Sample Rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
Heavy is the head that wears the crown.
Every day live from Milwaukee and heard on the iHeart app by fans everywhere. This is WRNW-FM Milwaukee. 97.3 The Gay. There is no BS with Screamin' Sicilian Premium Crab Frozen Pizza. Find it in your local grocer's freezer and taste what all the screaming is about.
He's very knowledgeable, very intelligent guy, very personable guy.
Here's Doug Russell.
All right, the kick in the teeth that is March Madness is that your season can be over in a hiccup, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, even if you've won 20 games, one bad night, and you're dispatched to the offseason. Take the Milwaukee Panthers, for example. They're done after getting upset in the first round of the Horizon League tournament, 72-64 to Oakland. Here's Coach Bart Lundy.
I mean, we had so many chances. I mean, those guys are devastated up there just because they know the crowd was into it and Oakland was teetering and we just didn't capitalize. It's disappointing.
You can feel the pain when you hear the podium smash.
That's a Mike Eller move. Yeah. Now I got to say, I was locked into that game. I was he loves doing that. No, you guys don't think so. And for those of you out saying that about Greg Gard, yeah, he does that.
Wow,
no,
I have not realized Heller does that all the time.
I was
I
locked into that
admire
game.
you, but I disagree. No, that's a
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah. No, I was excited for
Just
that one.
Can't predict. That's just baseball. Wow, that is a Hellerism.
Just baseball.
Wow, that's a Hellerism.
ESPN Plus
broke that glass.
ESPN Plus almost didn't have their stuff together though, because I was all locked in for that one. I clicked on the ESPN Plus for Milwaukee and Oakland. It was a difference, like Robert Morris. But I mean, like,
It was the Brewers game from yesterday.
Do not rob me of this moment to hear Wayne and Bob Brainerd.
Bob
that was
Brainerd,
awesome.
yeah.
I got Wayne and Bob on the call. Man, that was great. They had a great comeback. It was exciting. The Klotchie Center. They got to play there more. I know it's a business problem because they can't get the arena. I know it's too small.
Got to be there more.
They got a problem there because the Panther Arena has its own issues with the excitement and film the house. But when you get in the Klotchie, they're so much better because there's so much more intensity.
Yeah. No.
Man.
Got to get people in the building.
Tough one. Just a
When all
couple
is said and done.
couple possessions didn't go their way late last night. That was tough.
Panther season is over with a 21-11 record. Coming up tomorrow, Wisconsin.
game is always a good one.
We
That
love
is
it.
always a good time.
We love it.
We are in the midst of trying to effort our friend Aaron Nagler. We were running through some stream issues there, so we're going to try to get to Nags here in one quick second. Admirals hockey, Armin, you going to be there tonight?
No, Billy, I'm not able to because of the appearance I'm going to be at, but I will be.
Tell everybody where you're going to be at.
I will be there tomorrow, though. But tonight I'm going to be at the Verizon Bayshore store, 5790 North Port Washington Road in the Bayshore Town Center from 4 to 6. There's some Bucks action going on there tonight that you can go and try and win an ultimate VIP experience with the Bucks. That's powered by Verizon. So 6 lucky winners are going to receive 4 tickets each to watch the Bucks play the Knicks Friday, March 28th from the Club Lounge. And you get early entry, arena tour, all that stuff. So to register for this prize, you can go to, I don't know if you are.
You are.
I mean, you can try and win and ask for forgiveness. I think that's the best way to do it.
You can get an Armin Sarian autograph, though. While
Now,
you're
you're
there.
not going to be courtside where you could get into it with, like, I don't know, Mikal Bridges or Jalen
That'd be
Brunson,
nice,
like
yeah.
Stephen A. Smith last night, but it seems like a pretty solid prize.
Yeah,
I like
you
it.
can
Seems
go
like one to win.
online to bucks.com/Verizon and enter, but you can enter to win this by coming out tonight to the Verizon Bayshore store, 5790 North Port Washington Road. There's supposed to be some exciting appearances. I mean, besides me,
I mean,
of course.
you're going to be there.
Yes,
That's all I
but
need to know.
Apparently, Bango's going to be there and possibly other special guests. So we'll see.
As much as I love you, I'd prefer to see Bango.
I'm not going to lie. I tend to agree with you.
Yeah, so that's going to be exciting.
Other than that, 4 to 6 is when I'll be there. But
there we go.
Admirals are right after that. If you want to head down to the game after that,
Double play
that's what
right
Armin's
there. That's
gonna
a
do.
Friday night double play.
And then Armin's going to go to the Marquette game tomorrow.
I have the chili cook-off tomorrow. I can't go to the Marquette game, unfortunately. I will be busy with my chili cook-off, losing for the 4th consecutive year. That's what I'm going to be.
We'll get into more
with
of
that
later.
attitude?
Yeah, right.
That's the spirit, Armin.
Tremendous optimism. Doug, we'll
being
talk to you in an hour.
realistic.
Thanks, buddy. That is Doug Russell hanging out with us from the news desk. And now we are able to hang out with our friend Aaron Nagler, finally, with the power of technology and continually back working. Now Aaron Nagler joins us on No BS here on the game. What's going on, brother?
What's going on, gentlemen? Would you forget to pay the internet bill? What's going on over there in the iHeart Metroplex?
No one ever knows. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I
one
thought there was a 90% chance we weren't going to be hearing you at that exact moment when I said hi. So I'm
you know.
excited that we're here.
We got to get the
Never
hamster
know.
downstairs,
You
a
gotta
little more
know.
water.
The fact
Yeah,
that we
keep running on the wheel.
made this work, got the hamster going is an upset, which means to me things are going our way, which means we're probably going to get Hendrickson, DK, Miles
Devontae.
Garrett,
It's all happening.
Devontae,
It's all happening. I get
everybody.
it. I
we're-
feel it. The universe
Teams-
is bending to your will, Armin.
Not only that, they're all going to take team-friendly deals because they want to be part of something special.
Oh, that's fair. Yes, they want to be a
Or
part of the greatest story in sports history.
Teams
Oh, wow,
will be
we're going there.
so-
Yeah, send them
Great
all
Hendrickson
copies of
for
Cliff
7.
Crystal's book and let them know how special it
Teams
is
will
to
be
be a
so
member of the Green
willing
Bay
to.
Packers.
Teams are just going to start giving us first-round picks. Also,
Yeah,
They're
they
gonna
watched
be-
the Green and Gold movie.
Yeah, they're gonna be so
Exactly.
bored with it.
Exactly. Yeah,
All these things
It's
are going
all-
to happen.
It's all coming up roses for you there, Armin. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Listen, the eternal optimist does speak to what a lot of people are believing. Like, just send off all the picks, pay all the money, it'll be okay. We did caution and ask the question here before because I've been Trey Hendrickson positive since I thought this had a possibility. Right at the
Yes,
Super Bowl
sir.
nags, he fires it up with McAfee. Like, I want the Bengals to win, whether I'm here or not. Like, okay, that means that
you're
guy's
not going to
available.
be there.
It means you're not going to be there, right?
Right.
So that to me was one of the most intriguing options. I think it was going to be a little bit less than the Crosby pie in the sky idea.
Yep.
Miles Garrett, if he ends up getting traded, when he ends up getting traded, whatever that is, that's off to the shelf. That was going to be higher price. Hendrickson, money wise, going to be in that neighborhood.
Oh, he's going to be 30 mil a year.
Draft compensation going to be day 2, I would assume.
High day 2, most likely.
We said Hendrickson, Metcalf.
Oh, I'm
neither.
Hendrickson all day. I'm Hendrickson all day if that's the question.
Okay, good.
Between those two,
Yes.
it's absolutely the guy who has been insanely productive and consistently
Consistent.
productive. But that's the thing. He plays every game. He absolutely destroys anything in front of him as far as you can put an all-pro tackle. You can give that all-pro tackle help. It doesn't matter. This cat figures out a path to the quarterback. Like, that is a guy who would completely shift how you operate on defense. To me, that's a swing worth taking. Now, there are other teams in the NFL which will undoubtedly be in the conversation, but might drive the price up a bit higher than Green Bay would be willing to go. That's always the issue, right? That's always kind of the fly in the ointment, so to speak. But as far as like being in on it, I would suspect they have to be. I mean, that is exactly the type of guy that is going to change the calculus on the defensive side of the ball. The one kind of hesitation there is he is, going to be 31 coming up here next season. The idea that Brian has consistently talked about and his actions have shown, he wants guys on the come up, right? He usually, traditionally in free agency, likes players who are coming off that rookie deal, maybe the midpoint of their career, but very rarely does he want aging veteran back nine of his career come into Green Bay in that locker room. That's one kind of just the way they operate, right? Like, I'm not saying that's the way I go about it, but that's the way they go about it, definitely.
Yeah, it's the tough thing about this, right? And we were talking about a little bit earlier is you're trying to predict and project guys going forward in their career when you're committing that type of money to them. And it's easy to say, well, this is great. We want to get great established players. We want a bird in the hand. We want guys we know are going to produce for us. And since they did it the last 2 years, it's worth paying money.
Keep continuing to do that,
right?
Yeah,
and so many times there's a cliff, they eventually fall off. So the flip side of you said, you know what? I'm just going to stick with my system. I'm only going to invest in draft picks and young talent because we can't take the risks. Like that's the tough part of this business that Goody has to manage, and he's done well so far at it, but he has to keep hitting home runs.
Very much. I mean, that's the thing too. That's where these guys make their money, right? We can all sit here and make free agent lists or draft lists and talk about, look at his production. I want that guy. I want this guy at this position, etc. But where the job is in exactly what you're talking about, Armin. It's in projection. It's about where are they headed in the next 2 to 3 years, because most, especially in free agency, most deals are 2 years and then we'll see.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it's about paying a guy for what he's going to do. You don't want to pay guys for what they've done. You want to reward them for past performance. It's about what you expect them to do in the next 2 to 3 years. So that's where, to your point, they've done a very good job, whether under Brian or whether it was under Ted. When they've taken those swings, they've usually hit triples or home runs. It hasn't been, okay, we're like a scatter shot approach and some have hit and some have missed. When they've gone out in free agency and kind of utilized that as a tool, it's been pretty productive and pretty successful.
Do you anticipate Aaron Nagler joining us here? You're seeing him on the YouTube and X Stream, also listening to us on the Game Radio Network. When you're in the midst of it, Nags, do you think the more likely scenario is they spend bigger in free agency or one of these trades could be consummated? Because when Goody was talking at the combine to you guys in the private sector, in the private section, right off into that little small conversation,
sector, exactly.
Behind the ropes,
my man did say he's like, I'd prefer some more picks, right? I think the way of saying it was, we have 7 picks for now.
And they should have yet. We haven't got more yet.
Instead of lose picks generally.
They should get one more. So they should be operating with 8 when the compensatory picks get doled out. They should get one for losing Josh Nijman. That'll be a 7th rounder. So it's not like it's a significant pick, but it's another piece of ammo, so to speak. But yeah, to your point, that's why, man, a trade feels like the less likely kind of maneuver that the Packers would make, simply because they want cheap labor. They want those guys on those rookie deals that they can, be able to utilize them throughout the first 4 years of their NFL career, paying them essentially comparatively dirt cheap rates. I would be surprised if they swung that way. I do think there's a decent chance they make some kind of commitment in free agency, be it edge rusher, cornerback, maybe even wide receiver, though that one I really doubt. But yeah, of the 2 avenues, I think free agency is way more likely.
And why is it DJ Reed?
Well, because our buddy Rob Domofsky said that's a guy who's on their radar. And he said, look, his tape is good, and it's somewhat inconsistent last year. I think you got to take everything that happened with the Jets last season.
I think the Jets problem
with a grain of salt. I mean, it is a very unique situation, but he's a physical dude, and he's a good cover corner. The inconsistency is a problem, right? And he does sometimes get a little handsy at the top of routes, and that can lead to penalties and what have you. But I mean, that's a guy who I could see them kind of fitting in, right, with what Hafley's doing.
I was going to say, from a scheme wise, it just feels very similar to what they were running in New York.
Yeah, I mean, it is literally the Saleh kind of blueprint is what Hafley is trying to run. So he should be familiar with the scheme, the system, etc. And it would certainly kind of raise if nothing else, raise the talent floor in the cornerback room.
You certainly, that's a position you need to do that. And
you need bodies more than anything else. And it would be nice if they've got some experience and are able to fit right in and hit the ground running, so to speak, rather than a green rookie that you've got to throw out there in week 1. certainly I still expect them to draft at least one cornerback. But if you have free agency to make sure that you're not A, boxed in by need entering the draft, but B, also you have a guy who can contribute right away week one. Like, let's go.
No doubt. Aaron, this is, it's also true of every other team and every other fan base that they're going to look at guys like that and say, this would be a great guy. And you know how fans are. You know how fans are.
I do indeed know how fans are, Armin.
Are we worried? I'm worried
I'm
about
familiar
this.
with the fans.
Are you?
Yes.
I know. So I'm worried about this. Are you worried about this? That this fan base is setting themselves up for a fall because they are.
He's quite nervous about this.
All right. Well, Armin.
Let me get out really quick. We're so used for so long to have a dad that doesn't give us anything for Christmas in terms of free agency.
Yep. Nope. Ted,
and trades. And then our new dad has done it, and now he does it. So we expect those type of toys now. And if this isn't the year to do it, or if the deals aren't right, I mean, there's cap space. There's so much that screams, yes, we're gonna invest, and they don't. Like, are we setting ourselves up for a fall? But I mean, we have fans saying, well, it would be nice to get Hendrickson and Devontae, but what about Myles Garrett too? I'm like, what if we don't get any toys? Like, are you worried about what's going to happen with these fans? Because
Armin, first of all, I only worry about my children. Everything else, I don't worry about. Like,
fans for children.
Sometimes it feels like it. I'm not gonna lie. Not gonna lie.
Snags. Come on, we've watched how you walk into the establishment and praise and bow down. Let's go.
About my children. Now, that said, I mean, look, this is the time of year, right, where your imagination runs away with you, and you get kind of visions in your head about adding this, that, or the other guy. And man, go hog wild. I just want to remind people, to your point, Armin, it is still the Green Bay Packers, and they still operate a certain way and have for the last 30 years. Now, that doesn't mean that they won't make a move. But to your point, I had a joke a couple weeks ago on Twitter where I said, all these Packers fans talking about trading for Myles Garrett and signing Devontae Adams, and Gutekunst is going to sign Azeez Ojulari and then draft a receiver in the second round and call it a day. Like, this, I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I wouldn't be surprised, and they just put things in reserve and decided to re-sign their own guys coming into next year. You got Zach Tom coming up, a couple other dudes you got to worry about.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, like, I understand that they're going to supplement in free agency. I don't think it's going to be the day one chaos we saw last year. If you remember that day, that was tough.
That was awesome.
That was such a roller coaster, that first day of free agency. You talk about not being used to something.
Yeah.
I remember being able to book my annual vacation when free agency started, because Ted Thompson would never, ever get involved in free agency. So I would tell the folks at Gannett, look, I'm going away this week because we know the Packers aren't doing anything.
They're working
next week. Very different to have the week one crazy or day one.
Coach McCarthy didn't even know what week it was.
Yeah. Nope.
Is that this week? Is that this week?
That was the trade deadline. That was the trade deadline.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Trade deadline.
Which was good. But same thing, Yeah. You knew you didn't have to worry about it.
And I just know you're going to get, even if those are the right moves to make, because Goody has had so much success getting the right guys.
Yep.
It's going to be, then why don't we hit more home runs? Why don't we try that even more?
The reason they're hitting those home runs is because they are judicious, right? They do their homework. They know what they're doing as far as projections go. And speaking of, like, Goody, all praise. He signs these guys. His name is on the bill. But shout out to Richmond Williams, their head of pro personnel. And that cat does not miss. I mean, you think about what he's done as far as not just what he did last year, right, in identifying the Josh Jacobs and Xavier McKinneys of the world. Mm-hmm. He's also the guy who got Devondre Campbell off the scrap heap and ended up with a all-pro year, right? You got Rasul Douglas picked off a practice squad and comes in and saves your bacon at corner. That's the season that he came in on board. So that's what Richmond does. Like, you talk about a guy with a real good eye for talent and projection, and undoubtedly will be a GM at some point in his career. Richmond's the man.
He's the Richmond Williams is going to be this year's Russ Ball, the front office guy that people pretended to not know or did pretend to know.
Well, hopefully people are always positive on Richmond, because there are a lot of people that hated Russ Ball for quite some time. He became everyone's villain. He became everyone's most disdained human.
I mean, he was behind the driver behind Micah Hyde's exit. So I understand it. I kind of get it.
To make tough decisions sometimes. That's the
way this is the problem when you have a cap guy making scouting decisions. That's
correct.
You got to separate the two.
You got to have the little separation of church and state. Now, in the midst of all of these trade demands and requests and proposals that are going around, there's a couple of names that get circulated. I want to know which is Aaron Nagler most positive or most confident in taking a step in being being a contributor to the 2025 Packers because I think all three are still on the football team.
Right.
Lucas Van Ness, Dontavian Wicks, Romeo Doubs. Those are the three that I feel like people have just tossed in like, oh, yeah, well, we could trade Wicks in a third. You could trade Doubs in a fourth and the Van Ness in a third to get it. What of those three are you most confident in being a legit contributor to 2025?
Oh, Dontavian Wicks, without question.
There we go.
Look, the kid can do everything. He just got to hold on to the ball.
Just kind of squeeze it.
But as far as like asking him to do anything and everything at the wide receiver spot, especially on the perimeter, he's the one guy on their squad who consistently beats man coverage. Whether it's off the line of scrimmage or at the top of his route, he gets guys set up and takes advantage of them, like embarrasses them. It's there on the tape. You can watch it. The metrics back it up. He's just got to hold on to the ball, man. If he can ever like just get consistent in that regard. The Lucas Van Ness thing is interesting because I don't think in a million years they would trade him. But man, you talk about it's put up or shut up time. That kid has to produce this year.
Big time.
He absolutely has to. I mean, hell, he's got to get on the field. When Aaron Mosby and Brendan Cox Jr., two undrafted dudes, are out snapping you.
Studs, though.
As the former 13th overall pick. Yeah, that ain't positive, to quote my
Is there a concern though? I mean, if his main value right now is his potential, the fact that he's still a young first rounder, is there a fear that you obviously keep him, he plays this year, he has another underwhelming year, you lose that value where you could have traded?
I mean, I understand that from a dispassionate sitting outside and thinking about it kind of viewpoint, but there's no way the Packers view it that way.
Yeah,
they are all in on the kid. They selected him, and they're going to ride that. They're going to. They've got the 5th year of control if they want it. Because of the 5th year option as a former first round pick. I mean, I hear what you're saying and you're not wrong, but I just would be shocked if they were talking or thinking about it that way. Ted always used to talk about it. And Brian certainly seems to agree with this stance and this idea that all these draft picks, but particularly the first round picks, are long-term investments. And the idea being, they may be a little slow out the gate that second year, but man, by years 3 and 4, they're really contributing in a major component of your program, which I get the kind of arguments being made kind of on the Packers blogosphere, I'll say, where there are some analysts and bloggers and podcasters who talk about the fact that, well, that's all well and good, but then you're just kind of wasting that advantage you have with that
of years of production,
rookie contract, which is locked in. You've got quote unquote cheap labor, but these guys are taking way too long. And by the time they are quote good, now you've got to turn around and re-sign them.
Yeah.
So, and that's kind of played out with Devontae Wyatt, heading into his final year. That's a cat who really looked like he put it together last year. I mean, he's got to stay on the field, got to stay healthy, but he really seemed to all of a sudden pop, right? But now here we go. We're heading into the final year of his deal, and they'll probably pull the 5th year option on him. But that's the argument against this kind of thinking of, okay, it's a long-term investment. We don't need him to contribute.
Right. So you need those guys to contribute right away to be really valuable.
I mean, if you want to take advantage of that, the fact that they're slotted and you don't have to really worry about what you're going to pay them because that's already been determined, and you want to take advantage of that window, I get that argument. Yeah,
you're drafting guys to plug holes. You need starters. Like that's a big part of it. You need productive guys right in there.
Yeah. Sometimes, at least every once in a while,
That's a good way to
they've swung and they've missed way too much in the first round. I mean, that's just I don't think that's unfair.
No, and I don't think you're off base with that. It's very fair and it's very, very accurate. Now, there's an individual in a just glorious. Is that a painting? Is that a canvas behind you that we're looking at here of one Reggie White?
It's so
yes,
cool.
sir. These are the
that
old,
is gorgeous.
These are the old panels at the audio panels from the old studio on the west side that I brought home to my studio. So there you go. There's
tremendous.
Reggie.
There we go, Reg. So we've got an ass with
Ray and Vince behind me there.
Okay. So Reggie White correlates with a question that we keep getting asked on the talking text line because people want to go with the older players, older rushers.
Yeah.
Reggie White, Julius Peppers.
Yeah.
Hey, where's Khalil Mack in there? Like there just seems like that little correlation. Now you mentioned Khalil Mack, I know, on a Packers Daily a couple of days ago.
Yep.
I'm a fan. Like, I love that idea. We talked about it yesterday. Love that idea way more than a Joey Bosa, even if we're talking about just his teammate from a year ago.
I couldn't agree more. And the issue now is a lot of the Chargers media And did you know there is Chargers media? I had no idea. But the
They
Chargers
also have,
media,
like fans too in uniforms. It's
yeah,
pretty
Chargers
wild.
media is saying that the release of Bosa is going to pave the way for them to re-sign Mac, which I'm not a fan of.
Yeah,
but we've got like a weekend before we can start legally tampering. So hopefully they get through the weekend with no deal, and the Packers can swoop in. But I'm not feeling good about it. I'm not feeling good.
I'm down to tamper if they need somebody outside the organization to help. Like I'm very much interested
About that
in
life. I will make that work. I mean,
How many-
whatever they need?
Yeah, however they need it. Now, Negs was probably facilitating a bunch of them at the combine. I made the joke here before we got on, and Negs, you're way too gracious with your time, and we apologize for the technical difficulties to start.
Fine.
How many of these deals that get announced at say 11:15 on Monday,
right?
Are they just the fastest negotiators of all time, or have they had that deal in since they sat at St. Elmo's in Indianapolis?
Most of it is the genesis of most of those deals is throughout the week in Indy. During the combine, no question about it. You're getting a lot of conversation from a lot of different sides, all in one kind of 4-block radius, and most of that stuff is getting hammered out. Now, I'm not saying they were doing it over a beverage late at night. Like a lot of this would probably be on balance during the day, maybe a business lunch or what have you. But But yes, 1,000,000,000%. A lot of that stuff gets hammered out in Indy, no doubt.
Lunch at Harry and Izzy's, and all of a sudden is sitting
There you
here
go.
like, all right,
Yeah,
we go 3 years, 15.
Man, you know what? That's so funny you say. I did Harry and Izzy's at the airport, the Indy airport. There's that
Ooh,
Harry and
okay,
Izzy's
yeah.
when you walk in the I think it's the A concourse, but I've never done that before. I almost always go with just a simple Starbucks coffee, and I'm just like, because flying on a full, it's not my thing.
I'm with you on that.
I went all in. I got a ribeye and some green beans, and I did
ribeye at the airport.
Yeah, at the airport
go.
area in Izzy's, and I got like 3 old fashions. I slept the whole way. It was.
And you want to move the combine out of Indianapolis.
I mean, that was the best way to leave Indy I've ever. I don't know why I waited so long. I'm doing that every time.
This guy's
I'm back
getting
to New York
airport
from now on.
ribeyes
It's
and
amazing.
drinks. And
Dude,
you
Harry
want-
and Izzy's goes up. That place knows what they're doing.
And you
So
want
well
the combine to leave Indianapolis.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We got.
I mean, it's time. It's definitely time.
We need more Starbucks for the individuals to fight at.
Sure,
I think we
sure.
need more outside of just
Exactly.
that JW Marriott. All right, Negs. We always appreciate it, dude. We'll check in next week. If you are, we know you're going to be very, very busy because it's going to be a wild.
But I'll have time. I always have time for you guys. You know that.
Well, you're the man. Thank you very much.
Appreciate that.
We'll get to Carry the G radio, the podcast in coming up here very, very soon.
Well, once
And-
there's stuff to talk about, I'm sick. Billy, I don't know about
you,
you guys,
yeah.
but I can't even handle one more. Hey, dude, are they going to sign Devontae Adams? Like, no, my God, I'm done. I'm done.
I didn't ask.
I'm over.
Why I didn't ask.
I'm done. I can't. I've only answered that question 4 billion times in 2 weeks. I can't. No more.
And it's coming up again on Packers Daily today.
All right, I want to ask you this. How about what? Will
Dude,
Brandon
so
McManus
defeated.
get a new number? We'll ask it that way.
There
Will
you go.
Brandon
That's
McManus
well
get a new
done.
number?
See, now there, yes. Okay.
Weaving it around.
I get
Oh,
it.
man.
I get it.
All right, buddy. We appreciate it, dude. We'll talk in next week.
Appreciate it, guys. Talk to you soon.
That is Aaron Nagler of Cheesehead TV hanging out with us here on No BS with Billy and Sorry. I'm going to call a quick audible. We are going to be joined by Hunter Baumgart on the other side
All right,
as
let's do it.
Pat Murphy is moving their availability around. Super late for a break. We're going to try to figure out how we do all this, but that's for us to worry about. You just sit back, relax. It's a Friday. Maybe you grab a beverage and just enjoy No BS with Billy and Sorry on the game.
You may not play for your favorite team, but you act like it. Whether you're at work or outside on the grill, you carry them with you. No, not with a jersey, but a mindset as you crack open that ice-cold beer. Cheesehead TV and Gathering Place Brewing bring you Carry the G, a delicious and easy drinking cream ale. But it's not just for tailgating, it's for everyday life.
Well, we carry the G wherever we may be, so creamy and cold from the land of the green and gold.
Available throughout Wisconsin, 21 plus, drink responsibly.
The Brewers are in Arizona, and so is the game. The Mike Heller Show will be live from Phoenix daily.
Will you please control yourself?
Plus, Jeff Levering every Wednesday at 8 a.m.
What? No way!
The Mike Heller Show, live from Brewers Spring Training, is presented by Potawatomi Sportsbook. Bet above the rest, and in part by Wisconsin Concrete Coatings. Opening day will be here soon. Milwaukee's home for the most Brewers stuff is 97.3 The Game.
Hey, it's Armin, and I have to tell you, I could not be happier with our new 97.3 The Game broadcast studio built by Rima Remodel. It's been a game changer, all thanks to the Rima Remodel team. RIEMER Remodel.com.
Old Spice Swagger Body Wash will make you the MVP of freshness and confidence. With its irresistible scent, it will transform your shower experience, leaving you feeling fresh on and off the field. Pair it with Old Spice Swagger Deodorant, the #1 aluminum-free brand that keeps you feeling like a Super Bowl champion 24/7 when used daily. But don't wait. This dynamic duo is available at Costco for a limited time only. Old Spice, official deodorant partner of the NFL and Super Bowl 59, where freshness meets football greatness.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, because you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with a Capital One Saver card. So let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver card is at table 27 and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
KB here for Pep's Draft House Pizza, the official pizza of the Drew and KB show. The Taproom Double, the Prohibition Special, the Brawl and Buffalo Chicken, or the 5-meat mash. These are just some of the big flavors Pep's brings to your kitchen. Preheat the oven, turn on the game, grab your favorite beer, and make your house a draft house today.
Many times, patients have symptoms they didn't know were actually related to their airway breathing issues.
I was suffering from sinus issues, jaw issues, and neck pain. I guess I just kind of had my breaking point.
Unfortunately, this is typical. But until you get to the root of your problem, it's going to just persist. Fortunately, Jody took action, and the results were typical as well.
My quality of life is so different. But one of the first things that I noticed was my breathing. I don't ever remember being able to breathe like that.
Being able to breathe freely is life-changing, and the effects can go beyond that.
Sleeping better, having more energy. And it seemed as if all of those symptoms that I had just melted away.
And thank heavens for that, because at Advent, results are what drive us, helping you breathe well so you can live better.
Results may vary. Most insurance accepted.
No two people learn the exact same way. So how did Babbel become the award-winning language learning app? We thought of you, all of you. Take Sierra. As a visual learner, she uses Babbel's wordplay videos.
Today I'll share a quick lesson on shopping in French.
Merci beaucoup. Keith is a be in the room with real people kind of learner. So he loves the live online classes with our language experts.
Okay, class. Vos está pronto.
Estamos prontos.
However you learn, Babbel makes it easy. Try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. BABBEL.com.
At Rocket, we believe everyone deserves their shot at the American dream. So if you're feeling locked out of home ownership, we're here to give you back the keys. We're opening doors, breaking down walls, and doing everything we can to turn renters into owners. And we're not going to stop until we help everyone home. To find out more, visit rocket.com. Rocket, own the dream.
Have you found your new favorite feature on the iHeartRadio app yet? Presets and lyrics.
This is so good.
I've been telling all my friends. Wait, you guys aren't using this yet?
You're missing out. Get in on what everyone's talking about and get the new and improved free iHeartRadio app today.
iHeartRadio.
As if show number 1 wasn't enough of a treat, show number 2 of our season's even better. As we roll on, we welcome into the program and celebrate the great game with guests like John Hill from Boyd Putters. Andy Landenberger will join us from the Wisconsin PGA, and Paul Zielinski will be with us from the PGA Tour Superstore. All that and so much more.
teeing up at 8 a.m. on 97.3 The Game.
Live from the all-new Iron Jock Studios, built by Rima Remodel, this is No BS with Billy and Sarya.
I've waited for this. I'm so excited.
On The Game.
Welcome back. No BS on The Game inside the all-new Iron Jock Studios, brought to you by Reamer Remodel. It's an Iron Jock Merch Madness flash sale now through Sunday. Take 35% off Iron Jock's outerwear. That means hoodies, vests, quarter zips, plus you'll earn two times the rewards points with outerwear items that you can then bank for future Iron Jock gear. Use promo code outerwear35 at checkout to gear up for the sweet savings, and make sure you're signing up for the rewards program, ironjock.com, now through Sunday. That's ironjoc.com. Boys are all decked out in their Iron Jock down in Phoenix, Arizona, bringing us coverage of Brewers spring training. That's where Hunter Baumgart joins us now from. Hunter, before you guys get and check in with Murph, we appreciate some time here quick. Who'd you guys be able to get into the sight lines and lock down final day for you guys inside the clubhouse? Correct me if I'm wrong here today for interviews before you guys depart coming back tomorrow.
Yeah, so we talked to Joey Ortiz this morning, and that was fun. Talked about his off-season wedding that he had.
His mustache?
The mustache didn't come up.
Come
you know
on,
what?
Tim.
That was, we talked about almost everything else, because we talked about his music taste. We talked about where he was when he found out he was traded to the Brewers. There's a lot of topics that were covered in that one. So you'll hear that coming up tomorrow, our final edition of Brewing the Offseason coming up tomorrow from 10 to 11 here from Arizona. And then the guys went and talked to Chad Patrick, I believe, as well, who is rising star in the organization. Yeah, absolutely. So it's been a productive morning. The sad part is I've got a tarp sitting in front of me on the field right now. It's poured this morning for about 2 to 3 hours, but it's stopped now. A little bit the sun is a little bit out, so we're hoping for a game this afternoon.
You feel like you get robbed a little bit when there's any rain at all in the desert? Like, is that how that works? Because you always count on it being nice every day, right? So
totally. You think that it's going to be, it's Arizona, it's going to be sunny, and it's going to be 70, 75, 80 every day. It just depends. It can fluctuate, but the good news is it doesn't, look like a total, all day rain.
Yeah.
I know last year, the very first day we got here, Drew and I,
terrible.
It was a complete rain out and there was not a game. So that was really, really sad for my first day ever being at spring training as a media member, but we've rebounded and we've had a good week here.
Luckily it gets better. Now I saw yesterday your guys' conversation with Garrett Mitchell being able to just simply say, World Series is the goal. Now, I knew that had to have just brought the biggest smile to Tim Allen's face possible, because he gets very, very angry when people try to shy away from that being the goal. Garrett was a big part of their postseason success, albeit small last year. Just saying what that stretch run was for the last 2 years, frankly, right? When he had gotten healthy and then got hurt, he'd been here in the last couple of Septembers. That appears to be his goal, even though the other goal should be trying able to play an entire 162 games for Garrett Mitchell, right?
Well, that too, yeah, and being healthy, and all these guys, when you ask them what's your goal for this year, a lot of the answers are health, and that makes sense because what they can perform the best when they are healthy, obviously, and they're on the field. They want to show what they can do, and that's when the opportunity comes. Yeah, that was probably the biggest smile I've seen on Tim's face throughout the entire week here was when Garrett Mitchell said that to win a World Series, and Tim's like, his immediate follow-up to that was, "Oh, you just hit a home run with me, Garrett." And so it was just, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, you just went down that road." And if you haven't seen the clip, our Instagram, we have it 97.3 The Game over there, because he's not shying away from saying the goal is to win a World Series.
Which it should be, right? That's always the goal, right? So that's got to make a lot of people happy, a lot of fans happy, right? Because this offseason we had a little bit of little bit of issues with certain ownership saying maybe that wasn't the goal in general. But anything else, Hunter, that really has you excited now for your last day when you guys are there? Anything else you're watching for?
We're going to talk with Pat Murphy here in a little while, so we'll get any updates on any of the players there.
Cool.
That's just always entertaining.
Entertaining.
It's just, you never know what's going to come from that. We had a story earlier in the week of him telling Blake Perkins go and throw away his shoes during a game.
That was great.
Because they were dirty. I mean, there's just been you just literally never know what you're going to get with him.
Has he been pulling breakfast foods out of his pocket during warm-ups and workouts like he was last year? I know that was the pouch pancakes was a big thing. So are there any funny stories popping up like that? If not, I'm sure they will today. I'm just curious if you've heard anything like that.
Yeah, I have not. I know he likes his berries in the morning.
Oh, see,
so he's gotten those special delivered by some people while we've been in there. That he's fueling up with some berries in the morning.
And I just find it strange that you keep asking about what's in Murph's pants.
Pockets.
I think we
jacket.
calm down with some of the what has Murph got in his pockets and
could
pants.
be jacket pockets.
Let's take a quick time out. Hunter, can you hang out here quick through a break? Because I want to ask you about your Reese Hoskins interview yesterday as well.
Oh, absolutely. And a little bit more of an update on Aaron Ashby after the break.
Awesome. Perfect. Thank you. That's Hunter Baumgart. He's going to hang out through the break. We're going to chop it up a little bit more about Brewer spring training. Boys, final day in spring training again tomorrow. They will also have their final edition of Brewing the Offseason tonight at 6 o'clock and more right after this on No BS with Billy and Sari and On the Game.
Packers fans, you now can register for free entry to the 2025 NFL Draft by downloading the NFL One Pass app or online at nfl.com/draft access.
Sorry about that. This is Armin Sarian, and I just had a slice of Screamin' Sicilian. It's the premium frozen pizza that's so screaming good. Even just thinking about it, I sometimes each Screamin' Sicilian starts with a super buttery crust that was individually rolled. Then it's topped with a secret recipe tomato sauce, mounds of whole milk mozzarella, and the most toppings you've ever seen on a pizza. Seriously, one bite and you'll understand what all the screaming is about. Jackpot! Sounds like Brian Butch just found out. Find Screamin' Sicilian premium frozen pizza in the freezer at your favorite store. Screamin' Sicilian, it's so screaming good.
KB, I think our smart, good-looking listeners know that we enjoy our bourbon.
If they don't, I can't help them.
Our friends at Central Standard made some of the finest spirits I've ever tasted, like their Red Cabin Bourbon, aged perfectly and finished in California Cabernet wine casks with notes of oak and caramel.
I'm all about the smoothness, and I love the amber finish that follows every sip.
Red Cabin is a 2-time gold medal winner from the Los Angeles International Spirits Competition.
Perfect for nights by the fire pit, next to your fireplace, and all your holiday gatherings.
Central Standard's Red Cabin Bourbon, you will not be disappointed.
Thielman Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, Southeast Wisconsin's #1 heating and cooling contractor since 1929, has an unbeatable deal for you. For a limited time, when you buy a new air conditioner, you'll get a brand new furnace completely free. That's right, buy an AC, get a furnace for free. But hurry, this offer won't last forever and is only available while supplies last. Call Thielman Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing today or visit us online at thielmanheating.com to schedule your free estimate. Thielman, trusted since 1929.
Febreze. It's a classic odor tale. You fried fish for dinner, cleaned up, but the smell is still in the house. And the neighbors are coming over for game night. They're on their way. And then you spray Febreze Air Mist. Febreze Air starts working instantly to fight even your toughest odors, so you go from fish to fresh like that. Now, all you have to worry about is Pam cheating at charades.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to Hims.com/joy. HIMS.com/JOY.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother was saying he got life insurance from Ethos. With Ethos, it only took 10 minutes and he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Sample Rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
Hey, fellow Gen Xers, it's Elizabeth Banks. Big news! The recommended age for pneumococcal pneumonia vaccination has been lowered to 50 and older, even if you're healthy. It's up to us to lead the charge. After all, we gave the world the internet. We're trailblazers. Let's lead the way again because we are at over 6 times greater risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Gen X, this is our shot. Head to VaxAssist.com and schedule today. That's VaxAssist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
The Fox 6 weather experts are presented by AdventKnows.com.
Some light snow possible along and south of 94 today. Should see an inch or less in most areas. Overnight tonight will likely clear out, and we continue on the clearer side heading into the weekend. Highs today should be in the mid to upper 30s, 20s tonight, and then into the 40s tomorrow. I'm Fox 6 Chief Meteorologist Rob Haswell.
This report is sponsored by Jackson Hewitt. It matters who does your taxes. Jackson Hewitt makes taxes feel like a yacht rock song. Get your max tax refund guaranteed, and new customers get $100 to switch. Don't miss the boat. Book an appointment with experts today. Limited time offer for new clients. Participating locations only. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com.
Drew and KB here. Join us at 3 o'clock. We will talk to Patrick Herb from the University of Wisconsin about the regular season finale for the Badgers.
And of course, we'll play Figure It Out, brought to you by Great Midwest Bank and whatever else I want to talk about. I don't know what it's going to be.
Join us at 3, Drew and KB.
You get a chance to just reflect on what went on, what I thought I did well, and then have the conversation with your agent after that. I knew I liked being a part of this team. I like being a part of winning teams. Who doesn't? The youth that we have and some of the players that I knew would be back, I could tell you that I knew it was going to be easy to be a part of if that was the case. And that's how it ended up.
That is Rhys Hoskins yesterday with the boys. This is no BS on the game. They're out in Phoenix, Arizona. Tim Allen, Hunter Baumgart, Jeff Orlowski, hanging out with Brewers players, starting to learn a lot of the different tricks that are going to be on the field this year. That was Rhys Hoskins talking about his decision, and Hunter Baumgart joining No BS right now. Hunter, I think there are also a few other reasons why potentially Rhys Hoskins decided to rejoin the Milwaukee Brewers. There might be 18 million of them that could have something to do with it, but I like him spinning it to it was simply because of the young talent that they had, not because of this thing called a player option that he controlled.
Right. I mean, obviously, that probably had a little bit to do with it, but he also, you want to be on a winning team, and that's what the Brewers have shown consistently, that they've been a winning team, and Rhys Hoskins wants to win it at his age, his stage of his career. And, he talked last year and over the offseason about how much he enjoyed Milwaukee and Milwaukee's fans over the last year. And he also talked about that with us and saying, like, it's different. It's different. The fans in Milwaukee and in Wisconsin, it seems very genuine. It's a different feel. And I think that is going to be a theme when you listen back to our interviews. And if you've missed them, they're all on the Baseball Postgame Show podcast page on 973thegame.com or the iHeartRadio app. We usually ask some point in the interview about what the players think of the fans, and it's a lot of the same. It's a lot of genuine, and there's just not a lot of negativity. There's a lot of support for us. I know Joey Ortiz said that this morning, that he really feels like it's just a supportive atmosphere. And Rhys Hoskins talked about the signs that come out, drove 6 hours to come to the game and stuff like that. And players see that. And if it like, as much as we think, signs or, the cheering,
Sure.
it's just, we're just fans. And Tim Allen has talked about this a lot because he's always thought the fans make a difference, but players don't usually acknowledge it. Players are acknowledging it now. And to a guy really in that clubhouse, they're all talking about how much it matters. And so that is, I think, only fuel for Brewers fans probably listening right now.
I just hope he's not telling him about that stupid number 10 idea.
He has not brought that up.
Okay,
he has
good.
not brought that
Thank
up,
goodness. Okay,
especially to Sal Frelick.
Yeah, to Sal Frelick, that would just be disrespectful.
Yeah, I think
that'd be almost more disrespectful than you are to Sal Frelick on a daily basis.
Hey, listen, Sal, if Sal's got that power going these days, I mean, that could add a whole new dimension to this Brewers club, no doubt about it. Hey, I do get the sense that as a young team, Hunter, there is a sort of a sense of excitement and pride about trying to build this thing together in a market like this. And maybe that's a little cliche. Maybe that's me being starry-eyed as a fan, but it does seem like those guys enjoy playing in a market where maybe there's not so much pressure, so much media pressure all the time, but the fan base is obviously there, and it's something that they embrace here every day.
Right. And it's a confident clubhouse right now. I mean, that's the sense that we're getting.
Yeah.
Tim said that this morning when we were talking to Joey Ortiz, just kind of like, he's like, that's the sense I'm getting is throughout the week when you're here for, 6 days in a row and you kind of get the vibe by the end of the week. It's a confident clubhouse, and as it should be. I mean, most of the guys that came back this season, and then you add a Jose Quintana, which I think, especially to a guy like Freddie Peralta, who we talked to a couple days ago after his start, he's so excited. I mean, his face lit up when he was asked about Jose Quintana signing. He's like, I'm going to learn so much from that guy. All of our pitchers are going to learn so much from that guy. I think that could be just kind of that last piece that this team needed to really feel confident heading into the season. Not that they weren't, not that they didn't, but just that extra, like, okay, there we go. Now we got a name, a guy who's done everything, in the majors. He's familiar with the NL Central, all that. I think they're those guys, especially the pitchers and Freddie, they're excited to have that guy on their side.
Hunter, final thing for you, a little update on Aaron Ashby before you guys get down in there with Pat Murphy, and then hopefully Murph and Tim Allen have one good final embrace after they've had this nice, good back and forth contentious relationship this week.
Yeah, exactly. It's teeter. It's been a seesaw.
Oh boy.
As the entire it's been good. Pat Murphy's great, and it's just watching the interaction between those two has been
it's A1. It's amazing.
It is. We're about to go into Murph's office here in a bit, but it sounds like Aaron Ashby probably not going to do much for about 2 weeks, and then we'll start rehabbing from there. That was what his words were to us just moments ago in the clubhouse. And I'll tell you, he does not seem very concerned about this. It does not seem like this is a long-term concern. And I think some of that possibly was how, he went and missed so much time with that shoulder injury. And Adam McCalvey asked him, how does this compare to that? And is it tough? Because you just keep, unfortunately having the injuries pop up. He's like, honestly, it is nothing like that. This feels like a breeze compared to that. So I think his, obviously that changes your perspective when you are out that long, but he seems confident that he'll be back sooner rather than later. And we'll get a full update with Murph and follow our socials. We'll have that for you.
Well, Hunter, I just got to say, don't fumble it now on the 2-yard line, but you've almost gotten through the whole week. They kept these boys out of trouble. Jeff and Pipe, just, run through the tape.
I don't know why you'd bring that up now.
Run through the tape. You've done a great job. We're proud of you, but, just
that feels like a massive miss to be bringing that up right now.
Run right through the tape, Hunter. All right.
We're pulling for you, Hunter. We're pulling for you, Hunter. Be safe out there.
Not easy with those guys, so
I'll try my best. Thank you.
Appreciate it, buddy. We'll hear you later on here today. Those boys are doing fantastic work. And again, as Hunter mentioned, if you missed any of their interviews, go to the Baseball Postgame Show page, the podcast page. Again, on the iHeartRadio app is the way to do it. Look up Baseball Postgame Show with Tim Allen. You'll see the logo right there. You add it to your favorites, hit preset right there. And then every morning you'll be able to click on it. You'll find all the podcasts from the night before so you can catch up with all the Brewers conversation that you missed while, I don't know, you were sleeping. That seems like a normal thing to do, right? Get a little bit of sleep, catch up on your Brewers before work, then hang out with No BS on YouTube and X and the iHeartRadio app as well all day long while you're sitting at work. That's the way to be a Wisconsin sports fan. All right, hour number 3. Not only the last hour of the show, last hour of the week, means that we need to be fantastic. That also means that we need to stop having a 2 out of 3 parlay of the day. Almost every single day this week, we've gone 2 out of 3. You don't even want to know how late we stayed up last night to watch UC San Diego send it right down their leg. So we wipe that away. We get ready for a winning parlay of the day here today and a Doug Russell update on the other side. It's No BS with Billy and Sarian on the game.
Put me in cold. I'm ready to play today. Put me in cold.
You guys, this thing is number 1. Milwaukee's most listened to sports station and heard on the iHeart app by fans everywhere. 97.3 The Game.
Hey, Wisconsin, win an ultimate VIP experience with the Milwaukee Bucks powered by Verizon. 6 lucky winners will each receive 4 tickets to watch the Bucks play the Knicks on Friday, March 28th from the Club Lounge. Plus, you'll get early entry, an arena tour, and much more. Hurry to select Milwaukee area Verizon locations or go to www.bucks.com/Verizon to enter by March 16th. No purchase necessary to enter. Must be legal U.S. resident of Wisconsin, age 18 years or older to enter. Void where prohibited. For official rules and full details, visit www.bucks.com/Verizon.
Welcome to AT&T. How can I help?
Hey, I thought I could trust my twins with my phone, but they outnumber me, man.
Whoa, that's a lot of glitter paint.
Let's trade lives.
At AT&T, everyone can trade in an old or glittered iPhone any year, any condition, and save on a new iPhone. Ask how to get iPhone 16 Pro on us. New and existing customers. Savings vary by device and trade-in combinations. Restrictions apply. See att.com for details. AT&T. Connecting changes everything.
All right, team, listen up.
Merle the Squirrel's here to tell you why Capital's duct cleaning is a game changer.
What did he say?
He said, if you haven't cleaned your ducts in 5 years, you're breathing in all kinds of junk. And unlike those companies who use glorified shop vacs, we use high-powered trucks to clean your ducts the right way.
Yeah, makes sense. Cleaner ducts, cleaner air, healthier home.
Exactly.
Schedule your duct cleaning today and save $200. That's right, save $200.
Call CapitalCares.com.
Hey friends, Mark Zona, host of Zona's Awesome Fishing Show, the 2025 Milwaukee Sports Show. Make sure you register to win a fishing trip with me on Lake St. Clair. The 2025 Milwaukee Sports Show. I'll see you there.
Henry Wadsworth Longfellow famously said, "Into each person's life, some rain must fall." At Ryan Waterproofing, we tend to agree, as long as it's not in your basement. Free estimates, because praying for drought is overrated. Ryan Waterproofing. Call Ryan.com. That's call RION.com.
My name is Paul Hansen, founder of Iron Jock Performance Gear. If you are a business owner, college or high school athletic director, or coach, this message is for you. Did you know that you can outfit your business or school in Iron Jock apparel? We can heat seal your business or school logo on our polos, t-shirts, quarter zips, jackets, joggers, and shorts. And most importantly, it's at my wholesale price. There's no middleman to mark it up another 50%. Email me at paulhansen@ironjock.com. That's Paul, HANSON, at ironjoc.com.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. It's no wonder that ZipRecruiter is the place for skilled skydiving instructors, accomplished airbrush artists, and proficient pediatricians. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter to hire, you're missing out. ZipRecruiter is the place that's so confident it can make your hiring easier that it lets you try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. So if you want the right candidates for all your roles, ZipRecruiter is the place to go. Try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to Hims.com/joy. HIMS.com/JOY.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
It's awful, hon.
My brother was saying he got life insurance from Ethos. With Ethos, it only took 10 minutes and he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit GetEthos.com. That's GetEthos.com.
Sample Rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
If you want all the money you deserve, remember the name Hupy and Abraham.
I would give them a lot of stars.
More than a 5-star rating if it was possible.
If I could, I would give them 6.
Call Hupy and Abraham, 800-800-5678, or go to Hupy.com right now.
Get ready for the biggest night in podcasting.
The iHeart Podcast Award goes to...
Join us for our 2025 iHeart Podcast Awards, live from Austin, Texas at South by Southwest.
Celebrating the most innovative and influential voices in the podcasting world.
Push boundaries.
Sit down with amazing guests every week.
And engage audiences in new, remarkable ways.
Don't miss our 2025 iHeart Podcast Awards.
Watch on iHeartRadio's YouTube channel and listen on the iHeart app.
Monday night at 11.
Grab the contest rules for 97.3 The Game at thegamemke.com.
Number 1 on your car radio preset and the new and improved iHeartRadio app. Broadcasting live from the Iron Jock Studios. This is WRNW-FM Milwaukee. 97.3 The Game. There is no BS with Screamin' Sicilian Premium Crab Frozen Pizza. Find it in your local grocer's freezer and taste what all the screaming is about. Drop it.
He's very knowledgeable, very intelligent guy, very personable guy.
Here's Doug Russell.
All right, let's start at the Klotchie Center in Milwaukee. College basketball, a bitter pill to swallow for the Milwaukee Panthers. They get bounced in the first round of the Horizon League tournament.
72-64 to sixth-seeded Oakland. Coach Bart Lundy.
I'm sorry that I know that our players are sorry that their performance wasn't what we wanted it to be. And I think that's the hard thing is we leave the gym and we leave the season knowing that we didn't play our best game.
It's tough when you have to apologize or feel like you have to. I'm not saying Bart Lundy has to apologize. I'm saying he felt like he had to apologize.
And it's tough when you got one chance because no matter how good you've been the last 5 months, everyone's watching you now, and that's the pressure of having to win those small conference tournaments. Like the McNeese has been really good in the Southland, and there's other teams like that.
Those are the guys that are rapping with their manager walking out with the boombox, right?
Awesome. They've had a great year. They're top 50. They're top 16 Ken Pound, which is huge for that level. 25-6, but they've got to win their conference tournament. There is a lot of pressure there for those type of teams.
Is that Will Wade?
That is Will Wade.
Where's he going to be next year?
I don't know, because he can clearly coach, and if Patino's going somewhere,
he'll be in the SEC
again.
Yeah,
he'll be
100%.
somewhere.
Is Patino going somewhere?
No, Will Wade's going to be back. But Patino, I mean, you would have thought that guy would have never coached again, and then he's like at Iona.
Oh, yeah. You can win. Someone's going to want you. High Point is another team like that in the Big South. Had a great year, 26-5.
High Point laying 13.5 tips off here in a couple of minutes.
I like it, Billy. But
was 13.5 earlier today. Now it's 15.5.
Is there a pucker factor?
Up to 16.5.
Yes, there is a pucker factor.
Is there a pucker factor? And that's what I worry about. That's why that number is getting pushed up because High Point on paper should dominate these games.
Oh, that totally happened like last night. Sorry,
we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Coming up tomorrow on the Hardwood, Wisconsin and Marquette, both teams that are already in the NCAA tournament, of course. They both wrap up their regular seasons ahead of tournament time. The Golden Eagles, they play host to the Fighting Rick Pitino's, the number 6 St. John, Johnny's, Red Storm, whatever you want to call them. Tip-off is at 11. Badgers host Penn State at noon. You can listen to that right here on 97.3 The Game. The Bucks, they host Orlando tomorrow night. Milwaukee, one of basketball's hotter teams. They've won 9 of their last 10.
Talk about it.
Giannis very quietly having another MVP kind of season.
We are 21 games before the playoffs, try to build good habits, and I feel like that way we are just way more sharp when we play.
Yeah, they are right now. They're playing really, really good basketball, and they're closing well as well.
And that's why it gets quieter around nationally because people don't want to talk about it. I know Giannis didn't get much love for passing 20,000. You think that chip on their shoulders?
I don't know that there was a post from ESPN about it.
Wasn't a post.
Not one.
Under the radar, chip on their shoulder.
20-1 at the Potawatomi Sportsbook to win the Eastern Conference.
You like this, Billy? Yeah, I like it too.
How you feel about that?
I think they're going to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Okay.
I think they're going to beat at least Cleveland in the first round, and then it's going to come down to the Boston Celtics and the Bucks to go to the NBA final.
I do like the way things are feeling right now. People have counted them out most of the year.
Mm-hmm.
They seem to all of a sudden have transformed their team to this young, athletic depth pieces. You have Dame and Giannis are healthy. Everyone's healthy.
That's the key. You got to stay healthy.
Mm-hmm.
Kuzma's got to stay healthy because he's been a great addition.
Everyone's got to stay healthy, but that under the radar thing, that Doc started to build the chip on their shoulder about not getting the respect. You've heard in a couple comments.
Started all year. Damian Lillard's been, if not the best point guard in the Eastern Conference, one of the top 3.
Yep.
And somehow there's a
zero coverage for him.
Somehow there's been a narrative that he dropped off or something. I'm like,
well, he was an all-star this year.
Some people watch the game, some people don't. I was telling Seth Davis about that yesterday. Some people watch the game, some people don't. That's fine.
Yeah, you carried over that Seth Davis anger to the air a couple of moments. You were fighting him yesterday.
But the reality is,
I like a little fight out of it.
The reality is they're playing well right now, and that's an exciting prospect.
This season, by the way, Giannis is 2nd in the NBA in scoring, 5th in rebounds, and 8th in shooting percentage.
That sounds good.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Moving on to baseball, the Brewers, they'll need another outsized performance from their young core to again make it to October. Sal Frelick, pleasant defensive surprise last year, got a Gold Glove in the outfield, but he only hit 2 home runs this offseason. He bulked up, adding some 25 pounds of muscle.
I mean, it was a focus for me just talking with the trainers here. They told me I needed to put on more weight just to get through 162 games, a little healthier, and I was banged up. So just tried going home and basically eating everything in sight, and that was pretty much it. Yeah.
God, I want that off-season program.
Is this a real? I mean, is that a real?
Everything in sight.
Butch said the same thing about his redshirt year, that they wanted to put weight on him, and he was eating stuff. I don't know.
What do you mean? You don't think it works?
I think his real big talent right now is his glove. And his reckless abandon, his fight, his intensity, running into walls, going fast, not trying to bulk up. And I don't know.
Part of the bulking up, though, is to be able to play like that. I mean, like when you play with that kind of aggression running into the wall, you put some muscle on. maybe you're not hampered going into the playoffs because you bang-a-rang into the wall and into the fence. Like there's good stuff to his defense that will be aided by him becoming a better and more physical specimen, I think.
Without a doubt. Finally, to football, a Badgers legend is crossing state lines to the enemy. And even with James White's exploits in Madison, he's still going to forever be best known for this.
At the 2 of Atlanta, 4-man front, single back, Brady under center, 2 wide near side. Edelman in motion. Brady gets a snap, pitches out White, gets a block, cuts inside. He digs, he turns, he dives. It is a touchdown. It is a touchdown. New England wins. The Patriots have won Super Bowl 51 in the greatest comeback in Super Bowl history.
So this goes back to one of my tenets of doing this segment is
I don't know that I've
anytime
ever
I
heard
can
that
get Kevin Harlan on,
yes,
I'm going to.
Please. Yep.
Even when it's James White, who,
Great
by the
rule
way,
of
is the new assistant running backs coach at Illinois.
Yeah.
Is he like the 7th Badger now with ties that's on that staff?
I think so.
Hey, they got offers, so they're going to go coach there.
Oh,
I mean,
sure.
you know
Yeah,
what
no
I mean?
doubt.
Yeah.
And Brett's bringing him down there. And I don't know how the alumni base feels about it. I listen, I know that they're happy for their guys. I think they would like more of their guys to maybe have opportunities here. But hey, that's just that or there.
Neither here nor there.
I'll be honest with you. I don't know that I've ever heard that call.
I might not have either.
You hear Buck all the time. Obviously, Patriots win the Super Bowl.
No,
that is
I want the Harlan.
amazing. Wow.
Just the cadence, the he doesn't miss anything.
Because you don't know, right? Like at
You
that
don't miss.
exact moment, you didn't know if he was in.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Where he goes, it is a touchdown.
Right.
A touchdown. Because there was a mass of bodies. Frankly, I do think he was short. Like I do think he was actually short on the run.
I gotta watch that again.
They were so close that and all the momentum, the tidal wave of emotion had already come. And they're like, yeah, we're just going to give it to him. And then there's the moment where Brady is standing there. He's like, no, stop celebrating. We don't know yet. And then Belichick comes up and grabs him. He's like, hey, what are you doing? We don't know that it's official. He goes, oh, no, they told me it's confirmed.
Yeah, they told me it's confirmed.
And then they give the big old hug, and then they're finally knowing that
Girlfriend
it's
was in
in.
junior high at the time.
Yeah, what do you think she was doing?
Yeah, I don't know. She's probably
Philosophy homework.
Yeah, maybe she's maybe at a Super Bowl party. Maybe over at her, maybe her parents were at a Super Bowl party and she tagged along.
Maybe her JV volleyball team had a party watching the game. I don't know. Maybe she was better. Sorry, maybe she was on varsity as a freshman. I apologize.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not sure. Who's to say?
Snoop did not sound like he had a fantastic. I missed NFL honors. Didn't sound like many people loved his run. That joke that he had about Bill Belichick's girl. That one landed.
That was hilarious.
I've been watching football so long. I remember when the Cowboys were good. I've been watching longer than she's been alive.
She had the like shocked face. You got to know you're going to be the butt of some jokes.
Crossfire.
I'm not saying like it's not that it's nice, but you have to know you're going to be the butt of some jokes.
Also,
she's young enough to be his granddaughter.
Well, of course, yes, we know. Yes, I mean that's what it is.
But
what could they possibly talk about?
She's not.
Yes.
Well, yeah, that's correct. Probably the most important part of this.
That's the most important part.
Without a doubt.
Yeah,
yes.
He's not his granddaughter.
Yes, correct.
I'll
point Billy.
Although Bill did at the NFL honors have a great flex. I think he wore all of the rings. I was with Big Time Mike McGivern last night doing some high school basketball.
What's his nickname? Big Time.
Yeah,
I didn't know that. I didn't know.
You didn't know?
I
Big Time Mike McGivern. Big Time Mike McGivern.
I love that nickname. I had no idea. My apologies.
It's Big Time.
My man walked in with one of the state title rings. I'm like,
nice.
Big Time. If we're gonna do it, why not have all of them?
It's true.
He could have Bill Belichicked it with him basically
and just
all
got
over.
one of those.
Yeah. Although we do the interview with
fingers.
the young lady after she has a fantastic game. Taylor Gifford drops like 21 monster in the post last night.
Yeah.
So Mike goes,
what
this is what you're playing for right here. Takes the ring off and hands it
nice.
right before the interview.
Done, Big Time.
I'm like, that's what you need. Throw a little bit of extra motivation. And she goes, wow, that's impressive. That's big. And
Yeah,
it's
but
like,
you can't keep that.
You're gonna have to give that thing back.
You're gonna have to go earn your own.
It was awesome though. She was like, dang, that's pretty impressive.
That's awesome. That's
How'd
a
he say
good
it?
pull.
Billy, how did he say it? Is that what he said? How did he say it?
Right here. This thing right here is what you're playing for. You see this? You keep playing. You got a couple more games. Saturday's a big one. Be able to get you to the state tournament. They're going to play the winner of Menasha West Appearance.
You do Mike better than he does Mike. Than Mike does Mike.
I don't know about that.
No, that was great.
Second point for Billy.
It was fantastic though, dude. Sadly it's our last game that we're gonna be doing. I love calling those high school games. That is so much fun. And it was a good time last night. And listen, state tournament. It's coming.
There was I saw a buzzer beater last night in Appleton. Or was
that was
an
an electric factory.
Yeah, I saw that one. I asked Butch on Twitter.
Appleton East, I believe. Yeah.
If the double came too early, he never got back to me on that one, Butch. But hey, whatever. That was a nice call glass. It's in. Let's
that
go.
was kind of rude of Brian.
Well, whatever. I guess. Listen, some people respond to me on Twitter. Seth Davis, but Butch is too busy to.
I think we might have to get Seth Davis on the show after you guys were scrapping like that.
I think you should.
I think we got to get Seth Davis on the show.
Put that to bed.
Call an opportunity.
No, yeah, we're calling Seth Davis next week. Dougie, appreciate it as always. Have yourself a fantastic weekend.
Thank you, sir.
And we'll talk to you on Monday.
All right, sounds good. Have a good weekend.
Doug will be busy on Monday. The news desk on Monday will be very, 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 very busy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Especially this 11 o'clock hour update.
Yep.
There might be breaking news in the middle of the update.
I'll bring in the iPad. I'm just scrolling. All right, somebody else sign.
I'll have
Somebody else
Twitter
sign.
over here. I'll be keeping up with it all.
Oh, you got
Appreciate
Twitter?
Let's
Oh
go.
yeah, I got Twitter.
Sweet.
Let's go.
Hey, Dave's got Twitter.
Let's
Yeah.
go, baby.
Do you also have that Potawatomi Sportsbook sounder?
I do.
Let's see it.
Time now for Billy's Parlay of the Day, brought to you by Potawatomi Sportsbook. Bet above the rest.
All right, feel confident, feel good. Because our friend Travis in Waukesha just shot me this one. I believe in you and your parlay of the day today, Billy. Thank you, Travis.
Here we go.
Appreciate it, Travis.
Because the belief is a struggle bus over here right now. Your boy last night, it came down to something called UC San Diego. And the Tritons in the smallest gym I've ever seen.
Tritons, yes.
Go up 21. I mean, this was the worst first half of basketball I may have ever seen. I watched Waukesha West and New Berlin Eisenhower's girls sectional semifinal yesterday, and I wanted to rewatch it 15 times instead of watching that first half that I watched, where it was, I believe, a 27-25 split on shooting percentage.
Yeah,
albeit UC San Diego laying 22.5 in the parlay of the day, closes on a 6-0 run. Armin up 10 at half, feeling good.
In Lion Tree Arena. You're going to walk into Lion Tree Arena. Yes.
No, that's not an arena. That is somebody's
gym.
Extended garage that they were playing that game in.
That's the auxiliary high school gym. You know the auxiliary gym they have?
Yes.
Yeah.
Where they actually lay out the wrestling mats like for all year long so you can go in there and play and do whatever you want.
The high jump mat where you go wrestle your buddies on, you know?
Pause, yeah.
Well, you know what I'm talking about. You guys.
Yep, totally.
Whatever.
Totally
okay.
did that.
Yeah. I know this is not how this whole thing works with parlays, but you are getting screwed on this deal.
Absolutely hosed.
Now, I was fading off to sleep when our third and final leg, we were frustrated in the first half. Because you had a bunch of George Mikens out there trying hook shots.
Yeah, I don't know what
are they doing out there.
They were what I believe happened is everybody watched the Bill Simmons Celtics documentary,
right?
And was watching Bob Cousy,
right?
Just try to invent the dream shake in the hook shot, not looking at the basket. Let's leave that to my 2-year-old on the Little Tykes.
Yeah,
room.
like I get it.
Not when we're laying 22.5 and human beings are putting diaper money on this.
I get it. You know, you play in that conference. You're finally on national TV, aka ESPN Plus streaming, because everything's national TV now when they stream. Right. And you want to show off, right? You want to be like, I'm going to show everybody my skills. I'm going to the NBA. And if I cross over this guy, why don't you do what got you there?
Maybe the worst part is they were doing it in the second half. They were
did.
doing it.
So
they had it up to a 21-point lead right at the 12-minute mark.
Things were turning around. Great.
Feeling good in the neighborhood.
Feeling great.
At that moment, I believe it was a 27-6 run or something like that.
58-36, I want to say, or something like that.
And then all of a sudden they were up 4 with 3 minutes to go.
And I'm feeling good. You know, I'm starting to doze off the 10-minute mark. I'm like, they're gonna bring this thing home. Billy,
20-point lead. All you need is a nice little 7-0 run.
Boom,
get a little cushion.
Win by 26. Things are happening the way they're supposed to. Baby starts crying at 2 a.m. We're getting up, you know. Yeah. Lena's upset about something. And I finally realized what it was. She didn't have a diaper. She wasn't hungry. No. She was mad that they let Long Beach State back in the game to ruin the parlay.
To ruin the parlay of the day. Because New Mexico State did their job. I mean, just absolutely handled business.
They handled business.
San Diego, they hit the over.
Pacific
easy.
went over. No problem.
Crushed early. The best part about the Pacific San Diego over was, I mean, before I even started the game, The high school basketball game, Dave Gasper fires up in my ear. Hey, buddy, we're 1 out of 3 already. Like, you know how good that vibe is?
It's a great feeling.
Yeah.
When you're sitting
First
there,
leg hits. It's like, all right, here we go.
You see those first 2 legs, you're feeling good about it.
Then when the game ends, I'm telling them Mexico State's up 17 with 2 minutes to go.
You know,
that one's over.
It almost felt
sense.
like this stupid hedging thing that you talk about makes sense.
I hate to say it. I'm not. I know we're here to gamble. I hate to say it, but that's the thing you do. You win the first 2 legs. You've earned that chance to hedge. Now I'm not saying we should have done it because the Tritons.
Long Beach State has won
Tritons.
7 games this year. I didn't know that they played Milwaukee
Terrible.
School of Languages 7 times.
They've been bad all year.
Like I don't know who they beat.
Greg, what are you straying languages for?
Oh, sorry.
What are you straying languages?
I didn't know that they played Catholic Memorial twice.
I thought Milwaukee languages was pretty good. Actually,
Here they got Kenosha Indian Trail on the schedule. Great.
They got Greendale Martin Luther.
Truck them by 30. And then they come in here, just decide their best half of basketball comes in the second half down 20. But you know what? It is what it is. We survive and advance. And that's what we do in here
nonsense.
today.
Yeah,
It's
they
totally
didn't take
nonsense.
on SIU Edwardsville.
I was so ticked, dude.
Come on now, Edwardsville's
The
tough.
worst,
They got my
maybe
man.
the worst part of it was I stayed up an inordinate amount of time.
You should have
to be able to watch this
Be able to
horrendous
watch
game.
the end of it.
I've honestly never felt worse about myself than sitting up at about 11:30 at night
watching that game,
watching one of
Watching
the
the
worst
parlay go
displays of
away.
basketball I've seen. And then the coach of UC San Diego, my man grabs the microphone and walks out and cuts a promo like he's the Rock. I'm like, brother, you were a 23-point favorite and y'all just survived. Maybe
that's
we
what
wait to
matters.
cut the promo till tomorrow.
I just, you know what, and some wild things
They
happened
beat
this
somebody by
conference tournament.
45 earlier this week.
But they wanted to get on ESPN Plus and act like they're all going to the league, and they start trying crossovers. You're not John Moran, buddy. You're not. Just run your offense, win by 30, and get out of there.
Speaking of John Morant, his former team appears in today's parlay of the day.
Murray State.
Over 133, Murray State against
PTSD.
Bradley at the Ohio Valley Conference tournament.
Now, don't tell me you're betting against Brian Wardle.
Well, I mean, I think I'm working with Brian Wardle.
Oh,
We're
are
going
you?
over 133.
Okay, good. Okay, so Brian, he'll have those boys ready. I know he will.
Right? Like, I think he's cooking. I think he's ready to rock the rivers and shake the lakes. We're also going to go into the Summit League. Listen, Arch Madness is going down.
Arch Madness, baby.
Arch Madness is going down. And the North Dakota State Bison, usually we keep them into the pigskin variety of sports, right? We talk about them in the football version, basketball, not so much. They play South Dakota later on here today. The Yotes walk in after playing the Bison to a nice 4-point game a week ago in their regular season finale. Now they got one game under their belts into the conference tournament there in St. Louis. So a little bit of pressure. North Dakota State beat the brakes off of South Dakota earlier this year.
They did.
By 26.
They did.
In the South Dakota barn.
When I have that here somewhere, the Denny Sanford Premier Center in Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
And they almost burned that thing to the ground. Give me the Bison laying 3.5 today in St. Louis against South Dakota. Ken Palm doesn't like it from what you're looking at.
No, loves it. I love that. Ken Palm's got him by 7.
There we go.
That's a good sign.
That's good value.
The one thing you're going to have is a lot of points in this game. It's a high octane type situation.
They're running.
They got to stay warm in the Dakotas, so they run up and down. They keep the energy going. No, I think that's a good one, Billy. I like that a lot. North Dakota State about 100 points. 100 positions better in the Ken Palm rank than South Dakota. The only thing you worry about, this is in South Dakota. They're going to have to maintain against the rabid fans in Sioux Falls.
The Jackrabbit fans?
Right.
I think this game isn't this game in
got it in South Dakota. Am I wrong?
It's in South Dakota. I would have thought they were underneath. Okay, there we go. That's what I'm talking about.
That might be where the Summit tournament's going to be. Is that
That's what we're talking about?
So
Yes.
this might
Messed
not
up
be
there.
the
My
home.
fault.
This
I
might,
apologize.
But it might not be the home court for South Dakota, which is it's
I think
technically
it's in South
neutral.
Dakota State then, probably.
Right. So I think South Dakota plays at the Sanford Coyote Sports Center. So that's not their home court. So
Oh wow, they're going to be on enemy territory for both teams.
yeah, sort of. But if that's State's place, maybe that's a rivalry, and they don't want them to have any
I
love.
think everybody hates the Bison. I think
Yeah.
I think North Dakota State's
Billy, I think you're right.
I think they're in that everybody's rival.
Billy,
category.
I like this line a lot. I think you picked a good
Okay,
one.
there we go. Billy from Mequon just said roll Bison on the talking text line. We're big fans of that one as well. And our final pick for the parlay of the day, we're going to go to the Sun Belt Conference tournament.
Yes. I love the Sun Belt.
Watch Marshall and Georgia State run it up over 151.5 is the line at the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
Okay, I like that. All right, yeah. There's been action in the Sun Belt with all the conference movement now. You have teams you don't expect in certain leagues, so let's go. All right, Marshall, I like that one. Let's go.
So the parlay of the day reads again as follows here at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Over 151.5, Georgia State at against Marshall in the Sun Belt Conference Tournament. Over 133, Murray State and Bradley. And North Dakota State, the Bison, laying 3.5 against South Dakota. The Coyotes catch a fat L, and their season comes to an end.
Let's not get screwed, but one time here. We should have won 3 or 4 of these.
This is the way to go into the weekend. You know why? Because this is a plus 626 odds. All of the L's that we've had this week just get wiped off the sheet, and we're still winners, right? Like if you're now, we don't usually like talk about people's units here, but if your unit is the same size each day,
you're good.
Then you're all good in the neighborhood, and you're actually still profiting. So that's where we're going to get sitting here with the parlay of the day plus 626. North Dakota State laying 3.5, over 133 Murray State Bradley, and over 151.5 Georgia State Marshall.
And that game's in Pensacola. So I think they, I think
they're running.
They're ready to run. Let's go.
Listen, those boys in Florida were having some fun early on in the day. Let's go and run. And let's be victors at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Bet big, bet bold, and bet above the rest. It is tournament time. It's coming here very, very quickly. Make Potawatomi Sportsbook your place to catch all the high-flying hoops action with their massive video wall, sports betting kiosks, excellent drink specials, and more. It's a basketball fan's paradise. Bet above the rest, only at Potawatomi. Go and check out paysbig.com/sportsbook. Get your bet builder in, put all your plays together, and do what I did for this upcoming weekend, and you can go and reserve your spot, UFC 313. Those spots are filling up fast. Going to be hanging out there on Saturday night, watching some fights, watching some hoops, and you can be too for the tournament. Go and select those times and make sure that you get your tables or your chairs for the big dance over at Potawatomi Sportsbook. That's Armin Sari and Dave Gass produces. I'm Billy Schmidt. We got a lot more still to run through. Mentioned and played a little bit off that Garrett Mitchell conversation that the boys had in spring training. I got one thing to run by along the Garrett Mitchell lines for Armin and Dave, as well as you on the NicolaLaw.com talking text line. It's 877-794-1973. Back after this on The Game.
Football fans, get ready for an unforgettable NFL draft experience in the Discover Green Bay 2025 Draft Sweepstakes.
The Green Bay Packers and hosts for the 2025 NFL Draft, Jordan Morgan.
One lucky winner and 3 guests will receive an exclusive VIP package. Find out more about the 2025 draft in Green Bay and enter to win at greenbay.com/sweeps.
Brother man, you ever get the Sunday scaries?
Sunday scaries?
Yeah, you stay up half the night on Sunday because you're worried about the upcoming week.
I used to, but not anymore. Not now that I found Happy Place Hemp Delta 8 gummies. I take one about an hour before bedtime and I sleep like a baby. But I'm not the only one. One smart, good-looking listener texted us and said they started taking the gummies for their anxiety. Now they're more relaxed. They get a good night's sleep. No more tossing and turning.
And now listeners can go to happyplacehemp.com, use the promo code DrewKB, and get 25% off their order. Can't beat that with a stick.
Happyplacehemp.com, promo code DrewKB.
Spas. The Swim Spa Hot Tub and Sauna Show is coming this weekend inside the arena at the Waukesha County Fairgrounds. Rows and rows of spas, hot tubs, cold tubs, and swim spas. The largest display in the state. Save up to 60% on all in-stock models. This weekend only inside the arena at the Waukesha County Fairgrounds.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use. Welcome to AT&T. How can I help?
Hey, I thought I could trust my twins with my phone, but
They outnumber me, man.
Whoa, that's a lot of glitter paint.
Let's trade lives.
At AT&T, everyone can trade in an old or glittered iPhone any year, any condition, and save on a new iPhone. Ask how to get iPhone 16 Pro on us. New and existing customers. Savings vary by device and trade-in combinations. Restrictions apply. See att.com for details. AT&T. Connecting changes everything.
You ever try fixing your car and realize you're missing that one part? Yeah, been there. That's why eBay's my go-to. They've got millions of parts, guaranteed to fit. I'm talking brake pads for when yours have seen one too many miles of stop and go. Oil filters, because you don't mess around with your engine care. Even got this cold air intake on my watch list. I might just go for it. To keep the ride cool and your DIY streak hot. Find all the parts you need at prices you'll love. Guaranteed to fit every time. eBay. Things people love. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
I can see the breath inside my house. This is how horror movies start.
First, the cold seeps in. Next thing you know, you're spooning your cat for warmth.
I tried it. He bit me.
Jason, come on, man. You need a new furnace. Don't you know that Capital is giving away the furnace when you get a new AC?
Giving as in free?
Yeah, but call Capital before this turns into the horror version of Frozen. Call Capital today and get a free furnace with a new AC.
Old-fashioned service, you can't go wrong. Call CapitalCares.com.
Workdays can be unpredictable, but your workwear shouldn't be. With the Cintas Apparel Plus program, you'll have freshly laundered garments for everyone on your team delivered every week. Cintas has workwear for just about any job imaginable, with high-performance fabrics and an uncompromising fit that stretches and moves with you. Don't leave looking and feeling good to chance. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Listen up, fellow Gen Xers. Elizabeth Banks here. The recommended age for pneumococcal pneumonia vaccination has been lowered to 50 and older, even if you're healthy. It's up to us to lead the way. We've done this before. Music videos, fanny packs, even the World Wide Web. Let's do it again and get vaccinated, because we're at over 6 times greater risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Gen X, this is our shot. Visit VaxAssist.com and schedule a vaccine today. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED, because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to Hims.com/joy. HIMS.com/JOY.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, huh?
My brother was saying he got life insurance from Ethos. With Ethos, it only took 10 minutes and he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit GetEthos.com. That's GetEthos.com.
Sample Rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
Explore the mysteries of rural America in the investigative podcast Obscurum. Season 1, Invasion of the Drones, details the story of chilling aircraft sightings in the Midwest, sparking conspiracy theories and lies until the shocking truth was revealed.
There was a drone, then it actually rotated around our house, almost looking as if it was peering in each window of our home.
Listen on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Open your free iHeart app and search Obscurum and start listening.
97.3 The Game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's something to be scared or worried about. I mean, obviously that's what your goal should be every year when you come into spring training. It's what every team's trying to achieve. So I get part of it is like, you don't want to say, you just want to take it one day at a time, but that's always been our thing here is it's just win today. So I think with that being the mindset, I think why not look at it from that perspective, right? That's what we all want to do. It's been my lifelong goal since I was a kid is I want to play Major League Baseball. I want to go win a World Series. So that's not something I'm shy about.
As Garrett Mitchell, you can hear the entirety of the interview with Tim Allen, Hunter Baumgart, and Jeff Orlowski, the Polish Pipe Bomb, the Baseball Postgame Show podcast page on the iHeartRadio app. Go and download that right now. And if you haven't, I don't know what you're doing with yourself. I'll be completely honest with you. But you download it, then also hit preset on the Baseball Postgame Show. Might as well do that with no BS as well, because then you get the podcast every single day. Obviously, the game is the easiest way to be able to listen, and you can listen live all the time. But for those guys, they've had so many interviews, it's difficult to even keep them together and keep them straight, right?
They really have.
That one, however, though, Armin, I'm not BSing you. Tim Allen's going to think about that quote all year long.
He is.
He's going to reference that quote all year long, because Garrett Mitchell saying that and being honest that that's his goal and what should be the goal for everybody, he just became Tim Allen's favorite player, I think, because that is a trademark of our man calling it the championship season every single year, and just believing that if you speak things into existence, they are only closer to becoming reality.
Yeah, which I love. I mean, that's one of the things I always admired about Tim the most, is that he's always kept the main thing when it comes to being a Brewers fan,
which is winning.
It's like our goal is still to win it all, win the World Series, and he likes to talk about that more about a tangible goal than most people do, like in steps to the process. No, let's think about winning a World Series in the middle of July when the Brewers have a 5-game lead in the division. Like, wow, our chances to win the division are great. He's like, great, let's think about how we can win the World Series. Let's think about that being a possibility. And the reality is, I think all of us feel that to a certain degree. And it's become sort of a topic du jour the last month because of what Mark's comments were, obviously, and about winning the World Series. I don't think realistically you can honestly say anyone doesn't want that, to win the World Series. That's the dream for everybody. I think if some people are more realistic about the opportunity you have in certain markets, that's fine too. I mean, that's just the reality of how you look at a season. If it's failure, if it's success, if it's whatever, it's harder to do that in a small market. Doesn't mean you still don't want that and still don't make that the dream, the opportunity. My favorite movie is Hoosiers. We talk about it all the time. And one of my
what's the realistic opportunity of you winning a basketball game with 4 players on the floor?
Yeah, I mean, that's right. It's not going to happen. But one of my favorite lines is one of his speeches late in the tournament. He said, you don't want to talk about the next step until you climb the one in front of you. Going to the state finals is beyond your wildest dreams, so let's just keep it right there. I don't know. I mean, there's a place for that in sports and being a sports fan, a place for dreaming. That's what we do. You dare to dream. That's why I love March so much. There's no reason to think about how great it would be and to aspire to win a championship and aspire to be number one and to win it all and finally have your moment in the sun. That's great, right? That's all well and good. I just don't want it to be, sometimes it's so much where some people get so frustrated that if you don't win, it's a total failure and everyone's terrible and everyone didn't want to win bad enough and didn't do a good enough job. And yes, that's frustration speaking sometimes, but it's okay to dream. It's great to do it. That's why we love hearing Garrett say it, right?
Yeah. I also think that it's a lot easier said than done to just say, well, I mean, if you talk about it a lot more and focus on it, then it'll happen.
Then
right?
you want it more.
You want it more, then you'll win it. Now, there is so little guarantee in this game, and I think the Dodgers are a fantastic example of it, right? What does the money guarantee you? I think Timmy said it a couple of times. It guarantees you some relevancy, right? It guarantees you that the fact that if you have like when Carl Crawford signed with, I think, the Red Sox for $180 million, it was like an 8-year contract. I think he played 3 of them, right? Like you can't do that in this market and really survive for those next 5 years when you have that money and you're already still paying it out. You have the built-in ability to get off of bad deals. But for wanting it and believing that you can compete, I think there's the end goal is the same. However, the real difference in opinion can be what is the best course of action and way to get there.
Exactly.
And right now, I think the Brewers have, and whether you agree with it or not, and I think a lot of folks are somewhere in the middle. Clearly, there's examples that it gets you to a certain point. I think the knocking on the door enough times, at some point, that gets answered. At some point, you knock on the door enough times, somebody opens it up, then you got to kick it down. And will you be able to take advantage of that into the postseason? We haven't seen them do over the last number of years. But I think the validity to the process that they have gone under, I think it shows that you can be in the mix. And as difficult as it sounds to feel like you're only in the mix, well, you're never going to be a part of the actual prize at the end of the day if you're not in there. Like you got to be in the exclusive club of being into the postseason year in, year out to then have this amount of failures into the postseason. Yeah. But if you talk about being better in it and seeing some of their young players have those moments last year, I do think it helps. Now, does it guarantee the fact that they're going to be back there? Absolutely not.
Nope. Doesn't.
That could be Garrett Mitchell's final postseason home run that he had a year ago.
True.
I think it shows, again, just how difficult it is to get back, and will put some more pressure on them to continue to try to get opportunities, and as they like to say, bites at the apple that I know people don't like.
Which is why I don't think you should take it for granted that that the Brewers have been able to go back to the playoffs so many times in this last stretch. It's not an easy thing to do. Maybe you do something remarkable so many times it becomes unremarkable, which might be the situation in a lot of situations in sports that we've experienced in this market over the last 20 years.
Yeah.
Because there's a certain level of winning that puts you in a certain place, and then you get frustrated when you're not going to the greatest place. But that frustration is shared by every other fan base that isn't the only one that hoists the trophy at the end of the year. And that's the reality. You have to be realistic about that. That's why you also have to look at what your process of winning is and your process to get there. And if you believe in the process, logically, you have to be okay with the results, no matter what they are. And that's what you're talking about with bites of the apple, Billy. I tend to agree as well. I think that's the reality in baseball playoffs. You get so much randomness that you want as many tickets into the raffle as possible.
Yeah, and the process has worked for them. I mean, they've made it 6 of the last 7 years. I mean, that cannot be understated. You know, with how much that they've been able to do, and avoiding that kind of rebuilding cycle that it always was. Like, you get built up like 2008, 2011, then you got to drop back down for a rebuild for a couple of years before you get yourself back in there.
Well, and you have the Grandpa Maka stoppage. Right there
that was a
middle,
horrible decision.
Clearly
that was
some growth.
That was terrible.
Well, the tough part is I agree with you, Dave, but there'll be some that say, well, it hasn't worked. It doesn't work because you haven't won a World Series. And that's the number one. That's the only,
which I think is a fair pushback, right?
Sure,
like, I mean, it's
goal,
worked to an extent. However, I think it's the best way because you use the word realistic. Realism. I'm a realist. Realistic. Those are some of my least favorite words in the English language.
Yep, I know.
Right, because I think it's just the way of saying I'm smarter than you. Right, like, well, my opinion is right because this is I have facts to be able to say.
It's based on reasoning and
rarely there's a ton of facts on there as to, well, realistically, it's just going to be difficult. Well, we've seen teams do it, right? But to be able to do it on a year in, year out basis, to put yourself into the dance, you haven't seen a whole lot of those years where, I mean, sure, the Atlanta Braves are able to do it. That's one of the biggest television markets in the country. It was also backed by one of the largest pocketbooks in media at the time.
Yep.
So, like, there's just a difference in functionality of the operation. And I don't understand. I've never realized why this is the case, but I thought Brewers fans would take more pride in the fact that they have been able to accomplish this. Instead, it feels like we're more angry.
Well, I think there's a fallacy some fans have that because the process you've conducted gets you to a point where it doesn't win a World Series, it must mean that process is wrong. I think that's a fallacy. I think that's part of the thinking. Like, well, what we're doing hasn't worked because we haven't won the World Series. So we have to spend more or try and build greater teams. But there really is no one answer, right? Everybody's path to the World Series is different. Even for a team like the Dodgers that have spent a lot of money and won 100+ games multiple years, they haven't won a lot. They've won once, in the COVID year. They have won twice. So obviously there's not one way to do it. I mean, you can't say that the as constructed, the Brewers hadn't had enough wins or hadn't had enough strength or weren't a dominant enough team in the regular season when the teams they've lost to in the wild card have gone on to win the World Series. You're in the same position. You almost just need things to break.
And they've done it both different ways too. Right?
Yeah. And I think a large part of the anxiety too is that in this time, in all this success, they have really only won one playoff series. Against Colorado Rockies. They made it to the NLCS in 18, great, but it's been first round exits ever since. And you know, how much does that change if things change?
Maybe we need to be on the road,
or
maybe we need to be on the road for these wild card series instead now.
I don't know.
Like, maybe these home games are not the right way.
It's got to be what
that means you're not winning the division.
It's the same thing what Braves fans were thinking in the 90s. Like, what else do we have to do?
What do we got to do different?
Great pitchers. We have great performances. We have a good lineup.
I'll tell you what you need to do different. Your best players need to be available and play well.
They have to play well at the right time.
One individual who was unavailable for those postseason runs was Brandon Woodruff. More good news this from Adam McCalvey just a little while ago. More progress for Brandon Woodruff after navigating another live BP 2 days ago, getting the green light yesterday during a visit with his surgeon. He expects his next outing to be in a minor league spring training game. So there you go. Getting into some game action for Brandon Woodruff. But like, that's another case where you're right about to be into a postseason series. Woody's going to be your number 2 starter, and 2 days before the series, you find out you can't pitch.
Brewers have had what they wanted. A lot of these games, right? You had Corbin starting, you had Freddie starting, you had Josh Hader, you had Devin closing,
you had Adames up with multiple guys on, chance to take the lead, and nothing.
You just try and set the table the best you can and hope the dinner turns out the way you want. You can plant the seeds in the garden, you can't make them grow. It's just the reality of it.
Is that something about your chili?
I don't know. I don't know, brother.
That sounded like you're just bringing all the ingredients in here for the chili,
everything.
and it's
literally, I was in the supermarket reaching for anything I read on the internet, and the hundreds and hundreds of recipe ideas. Thank you to all the listeners that sent them in. We're trying our best, guys.
I got bad news for you. I think you're going to lose again.
Probably.
I got bad news for you. I think you're going to lose again.
Hey,
Are you going to serve it hot though this year,
Billy? It was hot they would just wait, okay? It wasn't that it wasn't hot. It was just you didn't wait long enough for it to heat up. That was my whole
You
take.
wait for it long enough to cook?
It was cooked. What didn't warm up. It was in the car.
877-794-1973. Do you think that's key for Armin Sari and his chili cook-off this week to have it be hot? I think that's going to help you, yeah.
I've never been wrong. I wasn't. What was
just
the line?
weren't right.
I'm bringing in Armin's famous chili.
Yeah, I think we're going to pass on that. 877-794-1973. Tim Allen and the boys still down at spring training. Now they met up with Mike Heller. Mike Heller back in the saddle again. He is going to be back at American Family Fields of Phoenix talking with you on the Mike Heller Show. We'll hand it off to those guys in about 15 minutes. We're back before then with our closing ceremonies for the week. It's no BS on the game.
You can go the distance, you can run the mile, you can walk straight through hell with a smile. You could be the hero, you get the goal.
Packers fans, you now can register for free entry to the 2025 NFL Draft by downloading the NFL One Pass app or online at NFL.com/draft-access.
Window Nation customers have been singing our praises for years. With fast, local service and an industry-leading 96% customer satisfaction rating, it's no wonder.
I researched window companies for the last year to see what the average prices were and the quality of work. Window Nation nailed both.
Get 2 windows free with every 2 you buy. Pay no interest for 2 full years. Hurry, this offer ends soon. Schedule a free estimate now. Call 866-90NATION or visit windownation.com. That's 866-90NATION.
Hey, it's Armin, and I have to tell you, I could not be happier with our new 97.3 The Game broadcast studio built by Rima Remodel. It's been a game changer, all thanks to the Rima Remodel team. RIEMER Remodel.com.
The Milwaukee Admirals battle the rival Chicago Wolves tonight at 6 on Outdoors Night thanks to Colders Furniture. If you love the outdoors, hunting, fishing, and hiking, you can learn about everything the DNR has to offer, including state park passes, licenses, and much more. Fans are also encouraged to bring non-perishable food items to benefit the Hunger Task Force and get a special offer for future games and a chance to win an Admirals experience. Also, log on to MilwaukeeAdmirals.com for more information about the Money-Saving Fair Deal Friday or the Ian's Pizza Student Night ticket packages. Saturday night at 6, Milwaukee hosts Iowa. Join us to celebrate Admirals legend Cal O'Reilly's milestone 1,000 AHL games, and 4,000 fans will score Cal O'Reilly mini sticks thanks to PSI Professional Construction Inc. It's also Faith and Family Night with national Christian music recording artist Shane and Shane performing a post-game concert courtesy of Lee Jeans, Coors Light, and Toyota. Please bring essential baby supplies to benefit the Stork's Nest. That's Admirals Hockey tonight at 7 and Saturday at 6. Admirals Hockey is presented by Landmark Credit Union. For all things Admirals, including stylish merchandise, upcoming promotions, or ticket specials, please log on to MilwaukeeAdmirals.com or download the Admirals app. And remember, don't just buy tickets, invest in memories.
2 bands, 1 night. Bachman Turner Overdrive. The Marshall Tucker Band. Roll on down the Highway 2025 tour. July 24th, Neuroscience Group Field in Appleton. With special guest Jefferson Starship. A night of vintage PTO. A night of classic Marshall Tucker Band. Reserve seats on sale now at TimberRattlers.com and Timber Rattlers box office.
It's like being trapped in a cage. And I know, that sounds dramatic, but your breathing triangle problem has got you trapped. And once you're freed, you're going to be able to live the life that you're missing out on. Now, this can simply mean experiencing the true pleasure of breathing freely. It will mean better sleep and more energy. And the worry of this problem any more affecting your life is going to be gone. Because in almost every case, when Advent has solved a breathing triangle problem, it's a one and done. Because we're not in the business of delivering Band-Aids. We want to fix your nasal breathing problem for good. We don't want you to be a lifelong patient. We want you to be our next success story.
Isn't it time you break free from that cage? Take the next step. Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
Breathe well with simple
Results may vary. Most insurance accepted.
What's up? It's Russell Nicolay with Nicolay Law. You're listening to 97.3 The Game, the #1 sports talk station in Milwaukee. For award-winning injury lawyers, when you're injured, you call Nicolay Law or visit us at nicolaylaw.com. Get the beard, get the win.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to Hims.com/joy. HIMS.com/JOY.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash, and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
It's awful, hon.
My brother was saying he got life insurance from Ethos. With Ethos, it only took 10 minutes, and he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old healthy, non-smoking male. Billed monthly.
The Fox 6 weather experts are presented by AdventKnows.com.
Some light snow possible along and south of 94 today. Should see an inch or less in most areas. Overnight tonight will likely clear out, and we continue on the clearer side heading into the weekend. Highs today should be in the mid to upper 30s, 20s tonight, and then into the 40s tomorrow. I'm Fox 6 Chief Meteorologist Rob Haswell.
This report is sponsored by Indeed.com. You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Start at Indeed.com/credit.
Milwaukee's best bet is VSiN, the sports betting network, presented by Potawatomi Sportsbook. Bet above the rest every night at 6 on Fox Sports 920.
Hey, a Sergeant Barrow, I'll break the spell of aging.
No BS on the game. Billy and Sarian with you here statewide. This hour of the show brought to you by Happy Place Hemp and HappyPlaceHemp.com. Everybody relax. Happy Place Hemp is there for all your hemp-related needs, whether it's Delta 8, Delta 9 gummies. Great way to enjoy the weekend. I mean, great way to enjoy the weekend. Maybe a stop on the way home. Right off College Avenue, you can go and visit Rob and Chris. Those boys, go and pick up some stuff, or go to HappyPlaceHemp.com. Use promo code Billy for 25% off every single time. HappyPlaceHemp.com. Armin, like this one from 715 in our conversation about the Brewers just on the other side, trying to push into a postseason championship spot. He goes, Billy, I tuned in hearing about being happy about consistently going to the playoffs, not knowing which team you were talking about, Packers, Brewers, or Bucks. And I think that's the issue. We have three teams who nibble, but never really get there. All right, there's one in the last decade.
Didn't we win a championship 3 years ago? Am I going crazy? Didn't the Bucks win it all?
They did. But again, that's one in the last 15 years. So
but that's one. I mean, we can look at this a million ways, but the fact is we did win it, and they are rare. So that's how that works. We did get one, and then the Packers won in 2010. Do we want more? Sure. We all want more. How many?
I get the texter's point. If you're talking about that, you didn't just wait 50 some years. That's a difficult spot. They have been consistently good, and all of these teams have been close. But I get the mounting frustration. Seems like you are not a fan of that.
Well, a lot of teams have been really good for a long time that never actually got one. So to say that we never get there is not true. We just got there. We just did.
The Brewers have been to one World Series in 50 some years.
The Brewers haven't, but he's talking about all of our teams. Okay. The Brewers, yes, have.
So the Bucks got there once in every 55 years.
And it was great, wasn't it, that we got there? I mean, it was hard to do, and it was a colossal achievement. So I'm not. You gotta sit.
I think you're trying to slap
me. I'm not going to be excited about that achievement.
Right.
I appreciate that. I'm going to do that. So
right, but I think you're trying to just completely dispel this notion there's no validity to it. I mean, there's quite a bit. There's quite a bit of validity. They've appeared in the championship once in the last 40 years.
Yeah, but
in the city of Milwaukee between the two teams.
Right. I guess my issue is he said never, and obviously it's not true. All right, so it doesn't happen a lot, and it hasn't happened for the Brewers, which is a team a lot of us want to win a World Series. That's the last team we haven't seen get one, obviously, and that's what we want to do it. And it's frustrating when you win to a level because then you're ready for that next thing. You're satisfied with winning to that level. Once upon a time, you're right. It was just about getting to the playoffs for the Brewers because they hadn't been there in so long. So that was the
that took 25 years to get back to the playoffs.
That was the starvation. So then they started to win. And
I don't know. I'm still pretty starving. I'm still starving.
No, but at the time, that was the
still
starvation.
a little hungry.
Weren't you more excited in 08 when they made the playoffs or last year when they made the playoffs? Though that's the point. It's like if you're given that enough times, a remarkable event becomes unremarkable. That's kind of what it's been for the Brewers because they've
right.
gotten there
But to the texture's point, I don't know that it should be as remarkable to make the playoffs.
Well, I don't know. I mean, there's more teams now that make the playoffs. Yes, it's easier to make the playoffs in baseball, but I think it's just as difficult for a market like Milwaukee to do it consistently as it was, when wild cards first came to fruition in 95. Like if the Brewers were not winning for so long, then they started to win consistently. But even we're not winning as consistently as they have in the last 7 years. Yes, getting to the next step is everybody's goal, but it's not. You can't say that making the playoffs is still not a good thing because
it's a good thing, but it's not as incredible as it once was.
Yeah,
now
because we're used to it.
Because it's easier.
Well, both are true.
Yeah, both of those are true.
Both are true. It's easier to do it now, but it's also something we're used to more. And because of that, it doesn't have the same effect on us as fans. I believe that to be true. So
they also need to win games. Like they have to win playoff games. Like at some point, they do have to win playoff games. And to Dave's point, they've won one playoff series in 2018. They've also won 2 playoff games in the last 6 years.
And we're super close last year until we had a terrible moment and gave up the homer. I mean, we should have won that series last year. And that's the way it goes. You have to have your guys.
I would push back on should have.
Well, you were in position to win the series. You're up 2-0 in the ninth with the best closer.
2 outs away from it.
Yeah. They were also
down 1 game. I get it.
They're also down a game, down runs into the 8th inning. So we can go both ways. But that was one of the best playoff series that we've seen in that wild card round in a while. And hopefully we just stay out of that this year. Just win the division, be one of the top 2 seeds, and don't even worry about it. Or go on the road and win it in somebody else's backyard. All right, 877-794-1973. That will be the number to be able to interact with the Mike Heller Show when the Mike Heller Show begins. Now, I believe that's happening on the other side, but we were told Mike Heller's busy. So we're not positive if the Mike Heller Show is going to be with Mike Heller on the other side. However, Nick Brusewitz will be there. Armin Sarian's going to be there. I'm going to be there. Dave Gasper's going to be there. And Mike can join whenever he's done. Mike can join us when he's available here on the Mike Heller Show. On the other side, it's been no BS. Dave, great work this week.
Oh, thank you.
Fantastic job, Armin.
Way to go.
Great work this week. We got a busy week coming up next week.
Great job, Billy. Let's
go. A lot of fun coming up next week. We have our Who Do You Love prize. NFL free agency kicks off on Monday. Ton to discuss. Can't wait for it. Enjoy the weekend. We'll be on the other side with the Mike Heller Show right after this.